Welcome to Liberal 12th Man Show. How are you guys doing out there? We're going to be doing a review and rating show today for a game that we most certainly do want to forget about. Um, I've got some of the best co-pilots out there to join me on this one. So I reached out to JK and the Irishman. JK, how you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. Hope you guys too.
Good. And the Irishman, how you doing?
Oh, I'm still drinking margaritas in the bar, dwelling on yesterday. Not feeling like it. Not feeling like it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, MK Toad just already said that today he'll be using your rating scale. So be prepared for some possible single digit ratings today. Oh man. What can we do? I mean, like, what can we do? Just other than just, hope for the best now. I mean, watched former Liverpool players making you know possibly performances of their I don't know if possibly of their career, but certainly of the year for them in Klein, for instance, and we watched Crystal Palace basically get a goal and hold on, and us actually more so, maybe even more so for us just not doing what we normally do, or not normally do, but pretty much do, because we always get a lot of shots, but we just haven't been able to convert those shots lately. So we're stuck in this little conundrum that I guess you could say the least. What were there anything? Was there anything positive that you can reflect from the game, from the either of you? I know that's probably a laugh right there, but JK, do you want? Or actually, no. Let's go. Let's go to the Irishman first, because JK is usually a little bit more positive. So we'll end on a little more positive note. Let's go with the Irishman first.
Thanks for that intro. Yeah,
This game.
what could you look? Ali's back.
There you go.
Trent is back. I mean,
There you
those
go.
are non-playing things on the pitch. No, I mean, you'd have to, you'd be crazy to say, oh, there was something positive that you saw on the pitch yesterday. But
Mhm.
just from yesterday as a day, yeah, it was horrible. I don't know, actually. I didn't see an update on Bradley, but that was
Yes,
really, that didn't look great. So
no,
great
it
to
didn't.
have Trent back, but not the last way you
Mhm.
wanted to see it
Right,
happen.
right. Again, I
Bit
mean,
of a
like we're
surprise for Ali to be in. We probably didn't expect that, so that was good. But I suppose you can take. Did anybody else come on that had been out? No, no. Ali
no,
and Trent being back, yeah, that's something.
yeah, that's pretty much
Yeah, that's about it.
it's about it, because the other participants and subs were all somewhat regulars. Well, Diego's made a return, pretty much a return, but he's already made
Oh,
his return. Yeah.
look, there you go. Roll me up on fat by saying Bradley is out for the season, fracture in his metatarsal. Bloody typical. Bloody
Wow.
typical.
Wow. Wow.
The way he was walking off, I thought it was his ankle. So at least it's just a fracture. It's not ligaments. It's not a
Right.
tear.
Right.
That's, a fracture is basically, that's an easy one to heal up. That's, I suppose, okay, but the timing is horrible.
Yeah.
Yep.
It isn't what we wanted to see. Um, we wish him, obviously, a speedy recovery. And if anything, as painless of a recovery as possible. Because I know that, like, it could be not only physically painful, but it could also be mentally painful, knowing you want to be out in the pitch, and how this is basically what you the entire year. This is what you've been waiting for, is to get to this point in the season, and have an opportunity to make something
Yeah.
happen. But big shout out to everyone joining us today. We wanted, like I said, we end on a positive note. So let's see what JK has to say. What were any of your positive takes from the game?
Yeah, I just want to say rest in peace to the 98 people who passed
Yeah.
away, or Hillsborough.
Mm-hmm.
So our thoughts are with them guys.
Absolutely.
Yesterday's game, I think it was just an accumulation of too many games for certain players, and also certain players coming back from injury and not being able to get back to the same pace they were before they got injured. Jones, for example, when he came on against Atlanta, he lost the ball so many times as well. So Endo as well, 2 games, he's come in straight away after his injury and he hasn't looked the same. But I would say seeing Arsenal sort of lose yesterday 2-0 took about 50% of the pain away. So
Yeah.
that's one positive I can see from yesterday's day, all in all. I think Man City, Arsenal, even us, we can lose games. We've lost 3 all season, which is actually pretty good when you
Yeah.
look at it. But we've drawn too many games. That's been our problem for a few years. We don't turn them
Yeah.
draws into wins, and
Yeah.
it's costing us. Man
Yeah.
City got the same wins as same losses as us now, 3, I think, as
Hmm.
well. So Man City back to the top, but they're also not as good as they've been in recent years. So they are also be able to drop points, bro. That's the only positive I can see from yesterday as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Shoot. Well, you guys want to just I guess rip the band-aid off once again? I don't know how many times we can rip these band-aids off, to be honest with you, before we get permanent scarring somewhat with some of these cases. Because geez, I mean, this game was something to forget. I think something to remember and to forget. I say something to remember in the sense of, look, it's going to take more than just us being at Anfield to get these wins. Obviously, it takes individuals to step up. Not only play with some type of urgency, but play with a sense of pride, play with a sense of, just to somewhat humble yourself in a sense, a little bit, in the sense of saying you don't want to feel as though just because they're Crystal Palace and their away form is pretty poor, you just don't want to give you don't want to go and say, oh well, I'm gonna half-heartedly go into this tackle, or I'm not going to conserve some energy or something along those lines, And Drunk Beagle, I know, yes, that is true. Even the Guinness didn't help us this weekend. So, big up Lee Wizkid, But yes, let's just jump right into these ratings so we can get through this, and then we can somewhat get a little bit of more talking on what we have, or if we still have hopes on trying to get this title. If we actually do have hopes. I personally do, but we'll talk more about it and everything else as well. Hello to Bernadette. Welcome. Let's see. Let's get this going on. So, I put together basically a consensus of where we were. This is like the average positioning for us in the game yesterday, and oh man, I don't know. I'm speaking on, but this was basically the configuration of where you saw a lot of the play going on for the average positioning yesterday. And then this is with the subs included. So you can kind of see that we progressed a little bit further forward once the subs got in. Cody got more involved. You can see Cody very active in the front line. You can see obviously Diego there. Also with Elliott pushing forward a lot as well, even a little bit further forward on average than even Mo Salah was pushing forward. And then you see Trent again on that right side, right central, somewhat big, basically next to McAllister's average position. This is what I put together. This is SofaScore's concept of what the game was. They had basically the only person on our team on the starting 11 at least getting at least an 8.0 as in the SofaScore rating as being Virgil van Dijk. Our front line was woefully horrible in the sense of saying 6.8, 6.9, 6.8s. Obviously, as a Eze with the goal, obviously is the highest scoring player on here. But for the most part, and it's kind of sad because they gave Ali a 6.8, and it's primarily because he didn't have to face that many shots. But like what it was for me is like, do you go against? Are those scores too far off from your scores, or do you guys in the chat even think those scores are kind of close or accurate to what you would expect, or what you heard your vision of what you saw the game as?
I'm not reading them because I want to do my own. I'm not letting anyone
Oh
else.
yeah, do your own. Okay.
I don't.
You don't want to even like get polluted with the sofa score ratings in there. Got you.
No,
I got
I'm
you.
going to do my own first. I mean, look at theirs after, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, I don't want to let anyone else's affect. Oh, well, maybe he was. No, I'm going to go with what I want to do. So they always, I don't know. I can tell they're a lot higher than I will be anyway. So
yeah, for sure. Those are the sofa scores. These are sofa score.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the apps that I use to get a lot of my stats and such. If so, you know what? Let's just go on and get this going on then. Let's get these ratings in. What were your ratings for Ali? What were your ratings? What did you want to? We'll start with you, Brian, and then we'll go to you, JK. What were your ratings for Ali?
he didn't, he didn't make a fool of himself in so much as like the whole team was absolutely awful, but it will be hard to, because goalkeepers, they kind of basically playing their own little game within a game. So if you were to actually sort of look at him over the whole 90, it wasn't that he had a particularly awful game. That's just a really well worked little maneuver. That by the time it gets to Eze, that's the odds are with the striker there. You're not going to blame Darwin if he hits that well enough. That's going in. So as much as I don't really want to give anybody a massively high score, but like maybe he could have been a bit more. Like he was practically playing on the halfway line. That's all good and well, but I don't know. But they all kind of were part of that. So I'm going to give him a 50.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and hi to Bernadette Farrell, by the way. She's a good friend of mine.
I told her
she knew in, I think.
I told her not to feel free to be brutal with your scores. Say you'll see Bernadette. You'll definitely see Brian be somewhat unforgiving with some of his score ratings. So definitely,
he is,
everyone. That applies to
right there.
everyone.
Actually, there is that one save he didn't really know a lot about. It was like very similar to a save we had at the end. That kind of on the line job. So maybe 55.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did have a pretty decent save.
Yeah, 50 was a bit low. So 55, I suppose.
It's so crazy because it's like I think there was a stat out there that Kelleher has actually played more games than Ali this year, and not only is it kind of weird, but like I'm looking at this picture and I'm just thinking like it's almost like an unfamiliar face practically. I mean, he's been out for so long. It's kind of crazy. But all right, so Ali got a 73 from Stefano, 60 from Lee. All right. Steven gave him a 69, a 6.9, we'll say.
Yeah, get a few more numbers in the chat there.
Yeah.
Don't be just chatting and tapping away. Put in a few numbers. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
We need people to push the train, not jump on the train.
Yeah. You know what's kind of is, and this is even going with what we just said it right here. Someone's talking about like the being on like, oh yeah, MK Toe said Ali looked shaky with his feet. And I can understand somewhat what he's saying in the sense of like our distribution from the back line has not been what I expected. I could say, or what we would expect it, I would say more so. It's been a little bit suspect to say the least. But Dustin gave him an 80. Wow. Okay. 70 from Bernadette. MK gave him a 50. Let's say I'm gonna go with
70, yeah.
a JK. Did you give your score? I don't think you gave your score. What'd you go with?
I'll give him a 70 because of that save. That's the
Because of the
problem I've
save.
always said Keller has. He lets goals
Okay.
in that are close to his body. Yesterday, Ali saved where the ball was close to his hand. Boom, he saved it, you know. But I just feel Allison really didn't have a lot to do. Not
He
like
didn't.
second
He
half.
didn't. And that goal that he let in wasn't something that he could have done much about. That was
Bro,
just poor
the guy was on
defense.
his own. He could have made a cup of tea there. The guy.
Yeah.
He could have invited his family around, whatever, you know. He had so much time. It was crazy. I was like,
You bring
come
his
on, where's
mates
the
on his
guys?
phone. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. I think I've noticed that a few times where players like Szoboszlai, Diaz, they allow the opposition to hang around in the box and they don't pick them up on the second ball, you know, or if it hits the bar and it comes back out, whatever. But they always seem to be alone in the box, the opposition. Need to sort that out.
Yeah. Like normally, like this is just for the chat too. Normally, what my perception is that if it's from 90 to 100 is like this will probably bring you back to some school days. 90 to 100 for me is like an A rating. 80 to 90 is a B rating. 70 to 80 is a C rating. 60 to 70 is a D rating, and then everything else is just pretty much a fail after you get into those 50s and below. And it's just a matter of how bad of a fail you want to show off on your scoring. But yeah, I know that some people do start at 50, so I'll properly, adjust your score in my own mind to accommodate for what you're.
Yeah, we all kind of use our own thing, but generally, like we're all kind of saying the same things. So 12 man are usually rounded up to something that most people, because some people's the opinion is the same, but they'll just give a slightly different number.
Yeah. I always like, and I didn't know that for instance that like the D, like your D's or your F's or your C's are a little bit, or like I think you said was 60 was a C in school or something like that or something.
Oh, like it changes. Oh, it's like 47 to 63. All this, yeah. I just go 1 to 100. I just think if you get into, this is why we've gone with 1 to 100, because everything else was constantly, people were like, yeah. Anyway, it's just
yeah. And then it allows for you to get your decimal points in there too. If you want 6.5, okay, cool. Write 65. We can all get it. You know what I mean? If you want to get close to 7, but you don't want to be at a 6.5, you can put 6.8. Whatever you like. So that's why, or 68. So that's why we went from 1 to 100. We're trying to do our best Drake impersonation. So, all right. So I'm gonna put Ali at a 65 for the rating. So I saw there's a lot of I know the 80 was like the
yeah, but that was Dustin. He's just Dustin doing Dustin things.
Yeah. It's all good. Everyone's welcome to their own opinions and own ratings. Don't have any problems with how you rate the players, whether you rate them high, whether you rate them low. Just keep it all real. That's how we do it. So keep it close to your heart. That's how I say it, right? So all right. So let's move on to Robbo. Robbo had an absolutely, I was just speaking backstage, absolutely incredible goal line save. Like incredible goal line save. What would you have rated? Let's see, Steven trying to screw up our rating. What would you have done with Robbo yesterday and trying to give him a rating? Brian, you want to go first? Or JK, go ahead. JK, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think he was the best out of the 4. He was the best one. That goal line clearance, the few crosses he gave some beauty crosses in. So I'll give him a 7, bro, because he was the best out of the 4. Yeah.
I Brian?
Yeah, just heard a couple of stats on him earlier on today. Kind of goes along with what people were saying. And he had the most attempted assists, most crosses. So you could see he was doing his job, getting up and down and getting balls in. And yeah, he did. That goal line clearance is that's not the first time he's done that. That's the old school Robbo, never giving up and just
Yeah,
getting there right
exactly.
at the end. So he
Yeah,
pretty much kind of the only one out there really that did his job, from what I could
yeah,
see.
yeah. I think
But
that yeah,
still a 70.
still seven.
JK said 70, didn't he?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go with that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean the chats with you guys too. Dustin gave him a 75. Rob Lee gave him an 80. MK Toe gave him a 70. Bernadette had him as her man of the match, for at least on our side of the coin. Gave him a 75. Honesty gave him a 75. So a lot of 70s out there, 75s in that range. So I'll kind of like split the baby here and go with 73. I thought that like a lot of what I really wanted to see out of this club and team is that kind of effort, that heart, that you know what I mean? Like as in that, you know, he could have given up on that ball, or he could have just like, you know, it's like that whole like never even if he wasn't going to make, you know, save it, he was going to give his best effort. And I think that you can never question Robbo's heart, like as, and that's something that's unique about some players today, at least. You know, some players today just don't have the same essence of determination as some
You
other
know,
players.
yeah. You know, it was good to see after seeing Gomez playing there and seeing Diaz on the left as well. They don't seem to get crosses in. Robertson naturally left-footed. He swings his foot. He gets the ball into the box. Missed that big time. He used to work for Klopp. That's how we sort of built this team on him and Trent.
Yeah.
Doing what they did, and they've cut it out from our team completely. It's like even when Trent came on yesterday, straight away dropped into midfield. You know, he weren't getting out wide right, nothing, and that's what made him. And I think this was the season. Maybe he should have sort of brought that back in, considering we got
Yeah.
Darwin up front. Darwin's sort of tall guy, man. He needs crosses. He can head a ball. You know, give him some crosses to actually feed on.
Well, I mean, like you kind of lose that by having Gomez on that
Yeah.
left side somewhat, you know, because at least it's a lot. It's not that you don't get any crosses from him on the left side, but you're going to. It's not as easy to get crosses in as you were saying from a right-footed player as opposed to a left-footed player on that left side. So, would you go as far as to say that you would prefer to see Robbo be brought back into the fold of being the predominant choice on the left side over possibly even like a Gomez?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would know. Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting. Yeah. Let's see what the chat's saying here. I saw Robbo has a good Robbo's got heart. Yeah, he does. He definitely has heart. Steven says, unfortunately, he says he sees Robbo being moved on from. We'll see. There's gonna be some tough decisions come summertime.
Yeah, when you look at any of the Scottish players that played for, well, any of them out there, base anywhere, but they're fighters. But any of the Scottish lads that we've ever had have usually been top competitors, from the likes of Souness, Kenny Dalglish. You know, that we've always had, not so much. We always used to have at least one Scot in the team. And one Irish guy, you know, back in the day when it was all teams were England and a few Irish, a few Scottish players. Some of our best ever players have been Scots. You know, just we have like, and he's just another one. Like, he's not a superstar like Kenny was or Souness, but they still, you can see, they just, when you come from a country like Scotland, you just have that kind of toughness about you. It's not an easy place to live. It's not an easy place to play football. You know, you're getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock, 6 in the morning to go to these freezing cold places. You have to be made of strong stuff.
Yeah, to
play up
get
there,
out of to push yourself out of bed to go.
Yeah, it's not like going playing in Arizona,
playing the rain, playing the wind. Yeah, playing
horrible,
cold.
horrible grounds, and you know, to be a kid and make it up there, it's a tough league. It's a hell of a proving ground. So if you get a good player that's skillful and comes out of there, you're usually onto a solid player. Like, but that fight, if some of our players had that fighting spirit,
you
know, we'd be doing all right. But look, yeah, that's just Robbo. We'll miss him when he's
Yeah,
gone.
that's a unique quality that that sometimes gets underappreciated and even sometimes
That's one of
overlooked.
his best qualities. Yeah, and they drink Iron Brew. You can't get that. Do you ever heard of Iron Brew? No, it's just a soft drink.
Mm.
Yeah, Hansen, Nickel, Gillespie. They don't just doesn't stop. Like
I drink Iron Brew. I got you.
I think it's orange or something. So is it
How about
orange? I know
what?
it's orange color, but I don't know if it's. JK, is Iron Brew orange flavor or just orange color?
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
he's gone. He grew up.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
sell
yeah.
it in England,
He's come back right now.
It's orange color.
Okay, yeah.
but it's not orange taste. No.
Not. It's a weird taste. I don't know. I can't really define what it is, man. It's weird. Is there a hint of orange in there? Maybe. I don't know. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It don't taste like nothing else
Stefano
you've ever
says
drank. I am brew.
Stefano says Diaz and Robbo still have very little chemistry. Do you agree with that?
They never have they? Really? Like the way Robertson and Mane did, for example. I think Diaz and Robertson never really ever clicked.
I just think that also like something. I know we often get into that conversation of bringing up Mane, but I mean like Mane is not the same profile of player on that left wing as Diaz is. So like it's a little bit like what's the output that you're going to get or the productivity that you're going to get from him is going to be always different than the productivity that you would have gotten out of Mane versus Diaz. But like with that said, I mean, is it more so that they don't have chemistry, or is it more so that the scheme, the scheme and the system have changed more so that chemistry isn't going to be as prevalent as well because of that? You know what I mean? Like you don't have bombarding wingers.
Bernadette has said it there. I was going to say what I was going to say.
Okay, I see it.
That he's a lone wolf. And again, it's like, well, by chemistry, I don't really see that he has kind of great chemistry with anybody on the pitch. It's sort of that he has an obvious thing, but not every player does. I don't. I'm not sure. It's sort of like people always used to say, "Oh, Mane and Salah, they don't like playing with each other. They don't. Don't like passing to each other, or whatever." It's sort of
right.
Like I said it before, that Nunes and Salah did seem to have this kind of, chemistry on the pitch where they look to play off each other. And to me, maybe it's just because of the type of player. But yeah, to me, Diaz has always been. Yeah, he doesn't have a partner in crime. Maybe it's you don't always see him linking up at Robbo, and again, it is because. Yeah. The system that we used before with Robbo, or before Diaz came in, was a lot different. So, I think he is more of someone who doesn't really have an obvious partnership with anybody, but that's because the team around him is revolving a lot as well.
Mm-hmm. So I just realized that he was peeking over my shoulder as you're saying that.
Yeah. It is. It is. It is. No, it stands out. I just think Bernie's spot on. He just kind of does his own thing.
That's Chris Angel out here causing trouble. Big up to Beijing Red Zone, Chris Angel. Big up.
He knows, man. He's just waiting for me to get that plane on the tarmac. We're canceling visas.
Exactly.
We're canceling visas.
We got the Liverpool. We can go anywhere in the world.
Oh, this one's going to Gitmo, and there's 2 players on it. Chris will tell you, he knows.
Yeah, I think some of that works out. There was a comment here says from Lee Wiskid. He says if Lucho makes runs, Robbo will put the ball through to him. And then also Beijing Pop said Robbo and Lucho don't have that chemistry in general, but yesterday they were good, which they were. Doesn't help when they haven't played together enough due to injuries, et cetera, et cetera. I think that means.
Shall we get back to ratings?
Yeah. Virgil van Dijk. How about that?
Did we go? Did anyone go on Virgil?
No, that's why it's blank. Yep.
I will say so far.
The chat's put in some ratings for Virgil though, but go ahead.
Okay. I would say a really poor performance. Generally, a little bit not disinterested, but like kind of not that there's bad Virgil, but the worst of Virgil, and culminating in the kind of mistake or error that a player like him probably has made twice in the last 5-6 years. You know, to see Virgil end up on his, on his arse sliding across the ground, it's not good to see. It's not something we're used to seeing. So they just kind of summed up his last 2 games, his form, the whole team's form, Liverpool's form. It summed up our whole feelings, sprawling on the ground and watching Crystal Palace go and score a goal. So it's got to be a low one. So 25.
25.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh wow.
20.
Okay.
20.
Now I see why you didn't want to look at the sofa score to affect your scoring. Okay. 25. Okay. How about for you, JK?
Captain tax,
Captain tax for real.
Captain tax. CT. Yeah. For me, sluggish 30.
Ooh.
You gave him a 30.
3-0,
Okay.
baby.
Wow. Okay. I want to. Okay. So in the chat, please do. We have a bunch of heads in the chat. Please give me your Virgil van Dijk ratings. This is your opportunity to possibly bring down that 25 or actually 27, 28 average there.
Wait for
for
Dustin
Virgil.
with the 99. Wait for Dustin
Yeah,
with the
there you
99.
go. There you go. And what are some of the scores that you guys have for them? EVD got a 35 from Lee. Okay. How about for anyone else? Anyone else got any scores? 40. Wow. Okay.
You know when Virgil's on his game is when he does a lot of pinpoint crosses from left, like from where he is to Salah. Yesterday, I think he did it once. I can't even remember if he did it actually. Normally in the game, when he's on his top, like he just pings balls quite a lot in the game. And yesterday, I realised he didn't do nothing like that. And I think him and Kanate waste the ball and a lot of time in the last 10 minutes just keep on passing it to each other. Like they're doing some training session, like centre backs just passing. They kept on doing it at the end, and I think why didn't him or Konate take advantage of the situation and hit the ball long? I was just waiting for it.
Well,
what
I would have said there would be that I'd say just guessing. I just guess that it was Palace man marking our boys that meant every time Virgil had a look up to where he wanted to put it, not that he would have been playing it to a man, but playing it to the space. Palace were basically giving him no options, nowhere to play it. So I think what we missed there was potentially, not that it would have done anything in the game, but when they're looking up like that and it's pretty much man to man, nowhere to go, that's where you want your player. Maybe it might be a different type of number 6, but if it was a prime Joel Matip or something, to then, okay, JK saying go long, well, I would have said it would have been going long anyway. Someone who can take the ball and then go forward, to run forward, like with the ball, like Matip does a lot, carry the ball forward instead of just going, then okay, because they're not marking our centre halves, but they're marking everybody else out of the game. So get the centre half who's comfortable on the ball to carry forward and then run at them, because then they'll have to do something. Then someone can get free and come into somewhere to receive from it, but that will have disrupted it. But they didn't seem like they wanted. Virgil has never been that player. Kanade does it sometimes. Matip can do it as well. It's one of his kind of party tricks is to kind of run forward, carry into midfield, and and he's not afraid to do it. That would have broken that open a little bit, but I think they were marking our targets so well that the boys didn't really have anywhere to go with the ball. So a
Mhm.
lot of this has to probably come down to Palace's tactics as well. But that's, I think, what we miss in that scenario is a centre half that can just go, right, give it to me, and they'll just run 15 yards
That
until
mat
players
or
move.
like basically the matchup thing. The matchup.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like Matip
Yeah.
used to do, like just to get to break their, to make them come out of their shape.
Yeah.
And eventually, and then you have what they call, the pause in South America. Just that you wait and you wait and you wait, and at the right moment when they gamble and they blink first, someone gets free, and then you can release the ball. But that's quality is what we're talking about there, real
Mhm.
quality. So, but that could
Yeah.
have changed it. But look, those guys weren't on the pitch, or Matip wasn't on the pitch. But
I don't. Yeah, because I
look,
don't think Virgil
little
does.
things.
Virgil doesn't really do those kinds of runs to go to.
No, that's not his thing. No,
That's not his
absolutely
thing.
no.
No.
He's got to
But
pass.
you realize though that one of the things I was saying in credit of Kanate, who's not necessarily on my best on my on my best list right now, but all the same, like Kanate has picked up that portion of Matip's game somewhat, in that you do
tried to
see,
do it. Yeah, he
yeah,
tried
he
to.
tries to do it every
Yeah.
once in a while, takes runs, and you even see Kwanzaa now do that occasionally. You know, he had the run where he had the.
I prefer him doing it.
Oh,
I
you prefer
prefer him
Kwanzaa doing it?
to. I've seen Kanade try it a few times.
Mhm.
It's obviously not his
forte. Yeah.
not something because you can see Kwanzaa's just like, yeah, give me the ball.
Mhm.
And Kwanzaa looks like he wants to do it.
Mhm.
And we saw him there a few games ago, didn't we? He got close to it. He dribbled past a couple of guys up after a corner or something. He was still up and he dribbled past a couple of players near the box, and good feet. So something like that might have been able to make a difference, but ifs, buts, and maybes.
Yeah, these statements right here are pretty much a. By the way, the Bernadette statement was funny. I'll bring that up again. She said, "When Verge has a loose hair escape, you know he's having a bad day." Yeah, usually it's tight and yeah, if it's all frizzled and going places, you know he's definitely not on his game. VVD second loss at Anfield said we would see a reaction and we didn't. We did, and we did that. Not good enough.
Yeah.
And we didn't. Not good enough.
Yeah.
Fail for him for 35. And then Lee had a good comment too. Fell flat on his butt. Didn't organize them for the goal and failed as the skipper in as much as that. Game after game, he says that they need to improve, but he should be telling his team, not us. Well put. Well put. I agree with that. When you take on being the boss, hey, the buck stops with you, pretty much. So yeah. All right, so then let's give I'm gonna give Virgil a 40 then. Give him a 40. Because I saw some 45s and some 35s and 30s. How about
Justin ain't
for
co-signing.
yeah, right?
Justin ain't co-signing nothing.
I know,
25 to each.
I know he's not. How about for Kanate? We'll start with you, JK. How about for Kanate?
Same as 30 again, bro.
Yeah.
Half a second too sluggish.
Was he? Do you think he was? Do you think he was responsible, or he was negligent for the goal that left in? I mean, because he was kind of, I don't know who he's marking,
I don't know, bro.
what he was like, he wasn't like, I don't know what he was doing. Like I watched the goal over, and I'm looking there, and I see that okay, Endo made a poor challenge, to bring down and cut off the space and possibly even take away the cross. Then but then like you see, I can see VVD, but Nate's just like exactly what MK Toe said. He's just ball watching. He's just like kind of like in Never Land, or no man's land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But for me, him and Virgil as a centre back pairing yesterday, bro, terrible. They just kept on passing to each other the whole time. I know that because of maybe not options and stuff, but I just feel in Kanate, because like what Brian was saying about Matip making that run, like for centre backs, he made it a bit of a party trick, and you've seen Kanate slowly doing that, and Kwanzaa doing that, and I'm thinking they learned that from Matip. I think Kanate getting injured messes him up. Even on yesterday's show, he was on about it. When Kanai gets injured, it takes him time to get back to his full.
Yeah. Brian was
You
saying
know?
2-3 games. No, I think you said that, right, Brian? I think you said that, right?
No.
Two. No, who? Someone was mentioning about 2 or 3 days. It normally takes him to get back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to the level that he needs to be at. Yeah, with the goal, the whole man marking was soft, but Konate was highlighted there. 40s and 35s, 30 from Bayesian Pops. Brian, what are you going to give him?
Well, I won't go into too much, but he's lucky to be old enough to drink in my team. 25.
Okay. Okay. Got
What
you.
everyone in the chat is saying, just an awful game. One of his
Awful
worst.
game, yeah, absolutely. Well, shoot. I have to print. I see a lot of 25, 30, 30s, 35s. Wow. A lot of 40s. Let's give him a. All right. Let's give him a. I get the score. That's going to cooperate for me. Let's give him a 33. How about that? Since he needs to find Jesus or something. He needs to figure something out. He needs something.
You need something.
I need something. Because he needs something.
That's why
That's what my grandmother would say. Something my grandmother would say, at least. You need to find Jesus. Something like that.
Yeah. But that's why Kwanzaa has played a few games with Virgil to give Konate time to get fit again, So he's had that time now.
Yeah. Right. He is Muslim, I know. Yeah, that's true. That is true. He needs to find Muhammad then, for sure. He needs to find
go to Mecca.
Yes, exactly. Maybe he does. So let's go on to Connor Bradley. Connor Bradley, we spoke of earlier that he got the terrible injury. It's horrible to see. The young man's had such a promising start to his senior career with the team. How do you rate Connor Bradley yesterday? I mean, it's difficult because of the injury. But he did get a decent number of minutes still all the same, even with the injury. What would you have given him yesterday, Brian?
He didn't have by anyone's measure the worst performance out there. And what was he basically played an hour.
Yeah.
An hour. And just look, I suppose I won't be too harsh on him. He didn't really do a whole lot in the game, but he didn't really do anything that bad. So there's not really a whole lot to say about him, is there? I'll just give him a 55. Leave it off. Mm-hmm. He didn't really get involved much.
Okay. JK?
Yeah, I just give him a straight up 40, bro. I just hope what his injury is, he's all right,
Yeah. I'm just thinking, how many minutes did he actually play? He played 48 minutes. 50 from Dustin. 60 from Bradley. For Bradley from Lee. MK Toe gave him a 50. His low crossing into the box hasn't been good lately. I agree with that too, MK Toe. I don't think that his offensive output has definitely suffered or has definitely come down from the higher purchase that it was originally. But
the way he exploded onto the scene, that was a bit, that was a lot. You're never going to be able to keep up that rate, but it has, to be fair, dropped off quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
No one's expecting goals and assists every game, but it is. It looks like he used up all his goals and assists.
Yeah, it hurts though. It hurts because, again, it hurts because he's playing a position on that pitch at right back that normally we do, or we look to at least. Normally we do look to get real offensive production out of, at least, So, but we have been in, but that's not saying he hasn't been he hasn't been a upgrade somewhat in the defensive prowess of himself as well, though.
He did 55. Get injured. He got injured for Northern Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't been right since then as well. Have you noticed?
Right.
Our players don't. As soon as they get injured, boom, they're not the same, man.
Yeah, very true. I'll give him a 55 for his score here. Yeah, he doesn't attack as much when Robbo is at left back. When Joe is left back and inverting, then Bradley plays like a right-sided Robbo. I like Lee
Exactly.
Wiskid with breaking down the
Well, yeah,
tactics.
exactly.
I like it.
When Robbo is bombing and we don't have both of them, then he doesn't. Yeah, when it's just him that's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he can't. It's the worst possible time or worst possible way. But it's good for. I would have been kind of timing it that way anyway. Was for someone like him who's coming as a young kid, had a big impact. Now let's take him back out of the limelight for a while. You would have been doing it anyway when Trent came back in. So that's fine. But the fact he's injured is a pain. So we'll get him back ready to go.
Yeah.
Start of the season. But yeah,
I was
that's
gonna
a real pain, that one, actually. We only found out. I haven't even thought about that. We haven't found that out. That's really pissing me off now.
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro. Yeah. That just came out of the blue, that news.
Yeah.
1 in, 1 out
10,
every time.
Every time, yeah.
Mac 10. Mac 10's been some of a savior as of late. Not necessarily the last 2 games, but he has definitely been a savior for us in the games previously before that. Mac 10 playing on the right side this time. We've seen him on the left, we've seen him on the right, but when Curtis Jones is involved in the game, obviously you're going to most likely see him on the right, involved on the right at least as an 8. What would you give him Mac 10 yesterday, JK?
Mac 5.
5? What did you say?
Mac 5.
Mac 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mac 50, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. The Stefano's with you.
Mac 50.
Mac 10 looked like Mac 5. Looked leggy.
He looked good when Endo looked good.
Right.
Endo hasn't looked good last 2 games. McAllister hasn't looked good in last 2 games. So that's how it goes with them two. McAllister likes playing with the DM who's on top of his game. It gives him that freedom of not having to concentrate what's going on behind him. McAllister sort of, he's a bit of a security guard, McAllister. He'll try to play attacking football, but I've noticed him when Endo's not playing great, he sort of don't, because he's always dropping back a bit more, So for them for McAllister to play well, Endo has to be playing well.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he got 113 touches yesterday. 113 touches. That's a lot. That's really, really, orchestrating the ball via Mac 10, trying to get him involved. Dusty gave him a 70. MK Toe gave him a 45. Stefano gave him a 50. Steven gave him a 60. Lee gave him a 70. Burnett was disappointed with Mac. Gave him a 58. Okay. Okay. What would you give him, Mike?
Oh yeah, that wasn't a good one yesterday.
Yeah.
Not at
No,
all.
it wasn't.
JK's only kind of reiterating what I've been thinking myself. Mentioned it as well, as that you can see the upturn in his form, link it directly to the upturn in Endo's form.
In Endo's form, yep.
Well,
sure.
no, and I didn't even mean it. Endo, his form. It was, you could see the point where Endo had really learned the role and gotten into his groove in the team. And you could see immediately how good a player he is when he doesn't have to worry about that stuff. And JK spot on. I was going to say that it just, the two of them that's a partnership. That's the chemistry. That it's not about Endo and Mac. It's about the 6 and the 8. It's about those two positions working properly. Those two positions allowing each other. So whichever player, but it just, for us, it's Endo and Mac. So they are vital to the functioning of that midfield. Obviously, they're 2/3 of it. But yeah, when Endo is not doing what he's supposed to be doing or unable to do what he's supposed to be doing, then yeah, we can kind of almost guess what's going to happen then to McAllister.
Yeah.
But even still, all the touches, probably the one guy that was still always going to be probably the most involved, but really didn't. Yeah, look, we all saw what happened yesterday, so that's just a 50. It's
Okay.
50. Yeah.
Not 50,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of 60s, 70s. MK Toe gave him a 45. 58, like I said, from Bernadette. Let's give him a 60. Let's give him a 60. That goes with some of what all the people said, kind of got in the middle. Speaking of Endo, I'll make sure you guys saw the score there. Make it official. Endo's looked, Endo's looked poor since he's gotten that knock. You remember the knock that he got a while back, not saying that it as an excuse, just saying it as a reality, that his performances have dipped since he got that knock. Now, whether it's him laboring through the pain and trying to, still trying to contribute, or if it's just poor form. I don't know which one it is, but Endo was not good yesterday.
If he's not fit enough, he shouldn't be starting.
Yeah.
Simple as.
I get that.
So
no, I get that.
That's up to the medics. That's up to the coaching staff. If he's not fit enough to do the job out there, he shouldn't be on the pitch. Mm-hmm. So if he is, look, every footballer will tell you. I mean, it's an old joke, but if you say to somebody, if you ask a professional footballer, when was the last time you were fully fit, they'll say 18. It's they always have. Well, are you fully fit? I'm 100% fit. Well, I've got this little thing I've got the thing in my knee, I've got a thing in my ankle, they always have freaking something. Always got some kind of thing. But yeah, if he's not able to carry out his duties, then he shouldn't be out there.
No doubt.
So I hopefully people saying these guys aren't coming back. Everyone's pointing out our players aren't coming back right from injury. So
right, yeah.
Are they being
how long?
But are they being pushed?
Is
that the issue? Are we? I think we brought a couple of people back too early this season, and we kind of learned our lesson a bit and started holding people back. But it is hard unless you're in the dressing room. It is hard to know. But he doesn't look unfit. He doesn't look injured or anything. So I don't know. But form, without a doubt, he's gone from hero 0 0. Get that Japanese thing? Anyway,
0 to hero.
Get that, 0 to hero back again, kind of in just like the whole team has. In the space of 2 games, it's like a balloon was popped. The party's over, but it's not like everyone slowly went home. I mean, they just instantly turned on the lights and shut off the music mid dance. It's just bang. Wait, what? It's over. Everyone out. There's no turn. No, you didn't get a chance to kind of mingle and leave slowly. This was just boom, over in an instant. Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah.
It's shocking. It's shocking.
No time to even get last call. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's. Well, sorry, Jake, I interrupted you. You were giving your rating there, but
yeah, I'll give him a sluggish 30 as well, because we've had this DM topic for years as Liverpool fans, haven't we? Since Fabinho sort of tapered out, who we're gonna get, and I've always said we need 2 DMs. It's just if one gets injured, the other one's there. If one's not playing good, the other one's there, vice versa, and everything. And this January, we needed another pair of legs in there to cover Endo or vice versa, and we missed that trick. And the last 2 games have sort of shown that, highlighted that. Why didn't we do that? It showed that problem where we didn't sign a DM. and it's sort of costing us because that's how important Endo's become. Actually, how important the DM position is in our team. Very important.
Yeah, very important. Yeah. Lee says Endo usually makes those little quick no look passes, exactly the same as Nagano for the LFC women. In fact, she's Japanese too. But yesterday he looked uncertain. And Dustin says he looks fatigued, but there's two ways to look fatigued. Yeah, a lot of 50s, 40s, 35s in that range. I'm gonna give Endo a 35 for the rating.
I didn't rate him, but
I thought you rated him. I'm sorry. I thought you
my
said you rated
rating
him.
would have been 15.
A 15. Okay.
Yeah, I thought he actively made us
now
worse.
official. Yeah. Okay.
He made us worse.
I think I was too generous. 30.
I'll drop it down to a 30 then. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah. Wow. Okay. It's painful to go through some of these ratings the last two games. Okay.
Yeah, he got hooked, Stephen. He got hooked.
Yeah, he did for a reason. You know, we weren't gonna for what we wanted or what we needed. We weren't gonna get it from Endo, despite the fact that he did have an opportunity, but he again couldn't put it away. Curtis Jones. We'll start with you, Brian, so I make sure I don't skip you. What would you give him Curtis Jones yesterday?
That miss is pretty unforgivable.
Unforgivable. It's the reason why he wanted to hide himself, actually.
Yeah, look,
I don't hide himself.
Yeah, I don't envy the kid. Look, I know, but it's
he makes that. He probably makes that in his sleep. You know, he probably makes that in his sleep because he's a very talented player. Let's just not get it twisted. I think Curtis Jones is a very talented player. He probably makes
on the
that.
Pitch otherwise.
He probably at least hits the target, at least hits the goal in his sleep.
Oh, he probably wouldn't have wanted, him to be the player that was in that position 1-on-1.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd asked him before the game, would you finish it? He would have said, yeah, but you probably would have preferred someone else, like Mo, basically. Probably he would have said, Mo, I'd prefer Mo to be 1-on-1 with the keeper, not me.
Right.
But
exactly, yeah.
It is a moment in a game, but also part of a team that I think got, it basically got done tactically. It basically, it was a midfield that got overdone, or overrun. It was a midfield that wasn't allowed to function. He was part of it.
Right.
I mean, it's an individual game thing. It's not a Curtis Jones thing. So it's, that miss, Curtis. Sorry, 10.
Yeah.
10. It's a 10.
Yeah. 10. All right.
Yeah, it's a 10.
Okay. I know it's gonna be bad, but JK, what's your rating? 10. I'm still getting over you got a 10. What's your rating, JK?
I'm gonna give him a 15 because
okay.
I've never been, this, bro. Like, I've never been a big fan of Curtis Jones.
Right.
He never flows. He does it sometimes. He actually got better at actually getting the flow in the game, but he's back to his old tricks yesterday and on Thursday as well. He just don't flow, man. He just ponders too long on the ball sometimes and do something decisive with the ball, lad. Yeah, just hovering with the ball, getting caught out a few times, this, that, and the other. He's just coming back from injury as well, guys. So that's another one on the list who might not be as good as he was before he got injured. So for me, 15. He should have scored, 100%.
Definitely should have scored. Yeah, the chat was a little bit more forgiving. MK Toe gave him a 40 for the miss. Stefano said 35 for him and Mrs. Jones. Okay. Mr. Jones. Great song. Steven says he says he does forgive him, gave him a 40. And Bernadette said Jones has developed into the best at repossession football and clean tackles, but he's not consistent. So she gave him a 50.
That's the thing. He's not consistent. That's what what you're describing there, JK, is just someone who is just inconsistent.
Yep.
He's good for a while, then he's back to I thought he was overplaying like that. Yeah, but it's just inconsistent. That's why some players never make it to the top because the very, very top. Like he's already at the top.
Right.
So but
to move into that next echelon.
Yeah, the question about this or that. It's just can he do it for a whole season, game in, game out, or for 90% of the season? I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't see
Can
it.
he stay fit as well? Can he stay fit as well?
Even him at his very, very best is still just a very good midfielder. He's not.
He's not great. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still just a great player.
All right. Let's get. This is, I get. He missed the shot. I get it.
No, look,
the 12's going to give him 80.
I know. I like Curtis.
I
had the pleasure of meeting Curtis actually. On his 21st.
So let's give him 90 then.
Yeah. Let's give him a 90.
Okay, because you met him once.
Because I met him once. How about that?
That's cool. Yeah. So he's a 90. Let's give him a Ballon d'Or because.
Okay. And
let's go.
The rest of my what I thought
of
as being an interesting story.
You know me, sorry.
Like Debbie Downer over here. Anyway, Curtis Jones is definitely going to get something in that range. So he gave him a 10 and a 15. I was going to say for the guy that I did get the opportunity to say happy birthday to for his 21st birthday.
Where did you meet him?
30. Huh?
Where did you meet him?
In LA, actually.
Okay.
Oh, he went to LA for his birthday. Ooh.
Yeah, he was there with his he brought him and his girlfriend came to LA.
Delante changed the spelling of his name.
And I don't he did. But but not many people, it's good for him to do that. It's cool because you know why? Not many people, if you did that in, I don't know, London or maybe even or something like that, probably people will recognize him more easily, But in LA, he's able to just be Curtis. So it was kind of cool. And he was American? He was appreciative that someone recognized him.
Recognized him. Yeah,
you know what I mean? As in he's not expecting that in America, most likely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
especially meeting you.
Exactly. Exactly, So it was pretty cool.
Is his girlfriend from America? Is she from LA or did they just go there?
They just went there. Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you, man, if he had a baseball cap and he was, or a hoodie or something and I wasn't paying attention, I'm not sure if I'd even recognize him.
Yeah, Yeah. A lot of football players do that though. Neymar comes over here a lot. I mean, he's big names, obviously,
I recognize
but
him.
some of those big names, as in some of those big players, I mean, they can get a little bit of anonymity in America by being able to live their lives and be able to go out and just be wealthy footballers in the world of doing whatever they want to do. But,
that's why Pep went there for his sabbatical. He said, I can just walk around New York, nobody knows me.
Yeah.
He said, literally, I just walk to the shop, not one person will leave it. He can't go outside his house in England or Barcelona. So walk to the shop, he walk to the cinema in New York, not one person recognize him.
It's just amazing. You should have seen what happened with Messi. Messi's the Messi sensation was obviously a big sensation when it hit Miami. But one of the things that's unique about it is that, you do know who Messi is most likely, but not everyone does, and it is one of those cases where he has a little bit more ability to kind of conduct and live his life. But then again, there are those that will they'll see him riding in a convertible and they'll roll up and try to say hello to him or something like that. So.
Yeah, all these guys, man, they just want to be able to take their kids to Disneyland. That's all they want to be able to do. Just go out with their
Vinicius
kids.
Jr. comes to America a lot. Vinny Jr. comes to America a lot. They love a lot of those players, especially love the NBA too. I guess a A lot
That
of
is a
players
big
like,
thing. Yeah, they like going to these big events and getting invited to fancy things.
yeah. Um,
But hey, it's about to get a bit rough. So
yeah, it is. All right, so
put on your big boy pants.
put on your big point pants for sure. All right, so we gave there's a lot of 40s. You guys are getting them 10s and 15s. Jeez. I'll go in the middle and give him a 25. And that hurts to give a guy who I think is one of the most essential players that we have to that midfield. He's like, yeah.
It's on yesterday though. It's all on 90. It's
I
all
got
on the
you.
90.
I got you. Yep, it is true. All right, so let's move on then. Let's move on. To Lucho. Lucho, we're gonna rate Lucho. Oh wait, before we do rate Lucho, let me just say this one time real quick, because this was after the goal, after Curtis's miss. I don't know what is up with Nunez, because I think that was Nunez in the back. You can't really see. He's already got his thing on, but he's got his whole leg is tatted, so I think it is Nunez.
Oh, he kicked the chair.
Yeah,
yeah.
I get your frustrations, my guy. I get it, brother. I do. Honestly,
Yeah.
There's a lot of times I want to kick some things in the house watching these games, but kicking signboards, kicking chairs,
Look, they're soft, but
Just
and
be
you can
careful,
see,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
because you can see, you can see
Yeah.
there's some guy, I don't know who the camera is on.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Klopp or something, and then there's someone else behind him with a sad face, and then this leg just comes out of nowhere and just boots the shit out of the back of this
boots
empty
the crap
chair.
out of it. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he properly connected with it. Like, he didn't
Yeah,
hold back. Like,
yeah, like he was in the kung fu, dojo or something like that. He was trying to get his kung fu kicks in. I'm like, what are you doing?
He needs to shoot
What are
like
you
that
doing?
in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, oh man, it's hard enough to keep these players not injured. You're gonna possibly, jeopardize your moneymaker. Come on.
Yeah, it's mad.
That's mad, man. Mad. Take your frustrations out on the pitch by scoring, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Please. Let's go with the back to Lucho.
First call of the night.
Back to Lucho.
First call of the night.
Yes.
Stats, please.
Okay, got you. I will bring that up for Lucho. Make sure I have everything correctly. So for Lucho, we have 65 minutes played. Oh, big up, Marion. How are you doing? Big up. 66 minutes played, excuse me. XG was 0.21. XA was 0.003. He had one shot on target, which was that scissor kick, right?
That weird flying kind of. That was mad looking.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the keeper knew a lot about that, but
no, he didn't at all.
Very similar to the alley one. That game was crazy for the blocks and saves. It was crazy.
I can understand that too. Dustin says when he was grabbed and shoved, that was a clear pen. That should have been a pen, I think. That should have been a pen. That would have been a bailout, but that should have been a pen. You know what's interesting is he was 1 out of 2 for his dribble attempts, but 28 touches. 28 touches.
He's not in the game.
12 out of 15. Not involved in the game.
He's not in the game. He's not in the game.
2 out of 5 ground duels. Yeah, 2 out of 5 ground duels, 0 for 2 for his crosses, and had 1 tackle. So
yeah,
about 28 touches. I told you about how, for instance, I told you about how Maka had 113. I said or something like that, right? What was it? I want to make sure I say the right number. Yeah, 113 touches, and then Lucho with
crazy.
20.
Yeah, man, that's mad.
That's mad, man.
That's
You're left wing on your team and you get 28 touches.
That's poor.
It's poor. What are we gonna do?
Well, it's your left winger at home against Crystal Palace. in a title race in a game we need to win, and he gets 28 touches.
Yeah.
You know, and it's what
Which
you
is
say,
interesting too.
hang on, what you said, 2 for 5 in his ground jewels.
Yeah.
He's not even doing that bit. 0, nothing from his crosses. You know, he throws himself at that cross. Yeah, okay, if that goes in, everyone's singing his praises. But, you know, that was something he's becoming a little bit better at is arriving, you know, and meeting balls like that have come into, unorthodox places. Scored a couple of goals like that by kind of these weird flying volley type things. But it's those are absolutely awful stats. It really is. Like, I get he was trying to make things happen, but like, I mean, Nulante, I could touch the ball 28 times between here and my kitchen. You know, it's what's going on. Like, you know, this guy usually takes 2, and he like in one action, right? You tell me in one action, right? Receive, touch, turn, give a ball. That's already 4 touches. That's just in one action, right? So if you take 28 touches.
Did they bring that from what Dustin was saying? Did they bring it to VAR? I don't think they took it. I don't think they showed the replay on VAR for his.
No, they didn't give.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, that's done. I think Virgil got lucky with one as well. That they didn't show again. But yeah, that's a shock, and he's getting a 10 for me.
Okay. How about for you, JK?
Same as. That's poor, bro. 28 touches.
20.
Yeah.
If you guys in the chat feel different, speak now. Forever hold your peace, because Philip gave him a 20. 2 10s from the panel. It's going to be rough. Make sure that there's no sicarios out there watching the broadcast today.
Even Dustin can't say this one. Dustin, fire up your burner accounts, man. That's a.
There you go, Trap Joe in the house. Big up, Trap Joe.
That's a spoiled vote. We only go up to 100, so that's a spoiled vote. Sorry, Trap Joe. And it's
Big
clearly,
up,
it's clearly malicious. It's clearly malicious. This is an attempt to disrupt the democratic process. I won't stand for it.
There you go. I've seen that before, so don't worry about that.
It's subversion on a level never before seen. No one has ever been attacked like this channel. Nobody has ever suffered the kind of attacks we have as a channel. It's unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
Yeah. I've read the playbook. I've read the Trump book. I've read the Trump book. Don't worry.
Wow.
I told you, Bernie is real. Bernie's a proper fan. Bernie doesn't sugarcoat the icing, as it were.
Yeah, I told her feel free to be brutal as she likes. All right, let's do Lee says
Lee.
On those stats, Lee said on those stats he'd bring it down to a 60, but no less than a 60.
Generosity in abundance.
No, Lee, I get you. I feel you, Lee. I wasn't gonna go down as low as the guys went, but geez. 15. They gave him 2 10s. All right. Let's move on before we get in trouble from before we get in trouble from the Sicarios out there.
Well, Lucho's behind you, man. Check hasn't got a knife in his hand all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Exactly. We'll make sure, right? Okay, we're good.
That was scary, man.
It's not me.
It's
not me saying that. Yeah, it's not me saying that, man. Trust on that.
All right. Bro, the way you just moved and he just popped up.
It's like he's looking at you. He's looking. Right
he's looking at everyone.
He's like, give me the rating.
He's looking at everyone like,
give me the rating. He's like, give me the number, 12, man. Give me the number.
Yeah.
He's saying, I only take 25,000 home after tax.
Yeah, exactly.
And he knows. Don't worry, he knows some people.
He might just kidnap me. Yeah.
There's another 15. There's another 15. Another 20.
Yeah.
And a 50.
He says, Monty says he gave him a 50 because he tried to dribble when he had the ball. Ain't nothing happening with the others, and at least beat a man.
Did he?
He was trying to produce something for us, but ouch. Again, that's not me, Lucho. It's not me saying that, Lucho. All right. Darwin. This is gonna hurt. I know we're gonna get a lot of we're gonna get some brutal assessments from the Irishman on this one. But Darwin, do I have to pull out the stats on this guy too?
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, let's all have a laugh. We may as well have
Yeah,
a laugh. So
I'll have
let's
a
read.
laugh.
May as well,
65, 65 minutes played, 0.25 xG, 0.009 xa. Had 2 shots on target. 1 shot was blocked. So all the shots, he had 3 shots, but 2 on target, 1 blocked. Had 1 attempt, dribbling was successful. Big chance missed was 1. 24 touches. What is up with that? 24 touches. I'm going to have to check something too. 3 out of 4 for ground duels. 3 out of 6 for aerial duels. Was fouled once. Was offside once. Tackled once. Had 1 tackle, and that's pretty much it.
Oh, that came to an end very quickly, didn't it? Yeah, just the facts, Jack, as they say. But
yeah. Wow,
it's yeah, JK, what you go?
I'll give him a 20. I feel that he should have scored that goal. I think, like, as soon as the player scores a goal, you forget everything else he hasn't done. If you understand what I mean, that's how important goals are for people like Diaz, him, Gakpo. Again, Thursday he could have rounded the keeper, scored no problem. I just want to understand the brother, what's going on in his head, you know?
Right, totally.
15.
I'm sorry. Big up Rasta Crab, by the way. Big up Rasta Crab. The streets have arrived, people. The streets have arrived. And I have to say, Brian, big up on Brian Burnett. She's funny. She gave him a 30 for 30 and a bill for a new chair. I like that. That's funny. That was funny. Let's see.
What did you say? What were you saying at the end, JK? You're I didn't hear what you said. What did you rate him?
At 15, bro, because he had the opportunities to score and he don't just take them sometimes, you know.
What did he get? It was 60 again. I'm calling it an hour. He got an hour basically, right? 60 something minutes.
66 minutes.
Yeah, that's the second time now in a row. Hooked on the hour mark, basically on the hour mark. And I think those subs were standing out on the line for about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to go down the same. I don't like going over the same stuff over and over again. After what we said, you could just basically swap the colors of the shirts, and it's just like the Atalanta game. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if his stats you could pretty much line them up over each other. His stats from the Atalanta game, and the stats from Palace game. It's basically a player that, to my eyes, is contributing nothing, and almost at this stage now is making the team worse. Just by the way some of the players being on the pitch today made the team worse. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. I was on a live stream with some guys there on Elite FPL just talking about FPL shit for a change. And there was a lot of talk, Darwin, because we have a double game week coming up, and it's Darwin this, Darwin that, Darwin. Like, which Liverpool players are going to bring Darwin and this, Darwin? I'm like, guys, you're not watching us, are you? You really aren't. And this is before the Palace game. It's like, if you're bringing him in tomorrow for your team, do not be surprised to wake up and find out that he's not starting, because after that Atalanta game, it's like, there's no way this guy starts. I was shocked to see that he actually got his place back. Now, I think I was kind of joking when people were saying what team against Atalanta. I was saying exactly the same team and tell them to go and fix it, because that used to be a thing back in the day. You know, as I said, to send the same team and tell them to go and fix it. You know,
this is your problem. Now go out there and fix it.
You caused this. You fix it. So, but I think Darwin got that treatment immediately in the Palace game. It was like, this is, to me, the epitome of
redemption.
A manager trying everything to play a player into form. It's just, I cannot do anything with you on a training pitch. The only way I'm going to get you into form is by putting you on the pitch. You score goals, and then you'll come into form. This is like real last chance saloon bullshit here, like with this guy. You know, maybe a new manager can do something with it, but whatever Klopp is doing with him is not working. So he is not contributing anything to this team right now, and especially when you look at some of the players, like I just can't believe it took that long for Diego Jota to get on the pitch. Not saying he was amazing when he came on, but it took that long for Darwin to be off when Endo was off at halftime. To have someone like this, who to me, I don't like sitting here watching him play, and that it's gotten to that point. It's not about stats. It's not about this. It's not about agendas. It's just I don't like watching this guy play because he's really annoying because he's shit. You know, it's gotten to that point now. Look. You know, I don't really know what else we're going to do with him. So it's 2 years now. It's not 2 months. It's not. Oh, it's not 6 months. It's not. It's 2 fucking seasons.
Mhm.
So if you can't make up your mind on him, and then I say, oh, you're changing your tune. Oh no, I haven't always been like this. So then you say, oh, you've always been like this. Oh, you hate him from the start. No, I was never convinced because I'm never convinced by any player. Oh, he's played 1 game for the club. No, give him 6 months. See, unless we buy Messi, right? You know, and he's brilliant after the first game. It's like, yeah, we've definitely gone and bought Messi. You know, you have to watch everyone. And at the start, it was like everyone was going completely overboard on him. It's like, I don't know. He was amazing against us. I love that we bought him. He looks wonderful. He looks like a footballer. You know, he looks like the kind of guy who scores wonder goals. And it just has not worked. So this is where I'm sitting here. There's no hate. There's like all the energy to rant and rave about him is gone, even though this has gone on for a very long time. But this is all I see. And it's all I've ever seen. And it hasn't changed. This is still the same guy that played his first game for Liverpool. He's still exactly the same player. You can't teach composure. You cannot learn composure. That's just a mental thing. So unfortunately for Darwin, yeah, I'm just going to be honest about it, and I'm just going to give him 0. For me, it was just a 0. It was a 0 performance.
Okay. Norm. There you go. Norm is in the house, people. Big up. I know, Marion, definitely hold. I was gonna say earmuffs while Brian spoke.
Look, it's just my opinion, Marriage. The guy could, a new manager could come in and he could score 25 goals for us next season.
Right, yeah.
You know, but that's what I'm saying. We're talking about yesterday's game, and especially the last 2 games. It's
okay.
But I just reckon Darwin's not really designed for a team that plays football. He's more of a team.
That doesn't sound good, Jake.
It doesn't sound good.
I know. I got you guys. I got you. I mean, geez, I'm
Darwin's number 1 fan, bro. He's my favorite player.
I got you.
Like,
I know.
I don't like listening to Darwin, but he's sort of a team who sort of who plays counter-attacking football. You know, so teams like Man City and Liverpool is going to be hard for him to play his game, what he's good at. You know, from the halfway line running towards goal, that's the type of situations we want him to be in. But
we don't use his pace enough. That's a fact. We never see his pace because we're never running a team. You know, we don't have.
There you go.
We definitely, that's something we never see him do, which is a major part of his thing. It's just,
you know what, bro?
I know what you're saying, tack triangles and little 1-2s and all that. That's not his game. That is not his game.
No, it's not his game. And you know what it is? Because really conceding goals first, that gives the opposition a thing to go and sit deep. So if we score first, they sort of attack us. So they give space for Darwin to take advantage of that. So that's why it's so important for us and for Darwin to score first. It's mad. As soon as the other team scores, boom, they're going back to 10, 15 yards, no problem.
Well, this is why we're, I think, one of the better channels out there. And that is because while I break stuff in my office here, I also will say that because we do allow for different opinions to be voiced and to be brought out, whether they're in the chat or whether they're on the panel. This is not an echo chamber. So, you know, I definitely don't have the same opinions as JK and the Irishman, but I do know that it is concerning that this young man has gotten himself into a rut, as in his confidence and his focus to hold on to that confidence is not there, and it's a matter of finding that confidence, obviously, but yeah, I think we've seen Darwin in form and really playing well, and obviously we've seen Darwin where he can't hit the side of a barn. So so yeah, it's a matter of like which one of those which Darwin are we going to get, in my personal opinion. But the people have spoken, and
that I'll go just to add to you. I will go along with that completely. I admire his ability to still go out there and hold his head up high, and like even when he gets taken off, he's not like, he still has that, he hasn't let his head drop, and he must be severely lacking in confidence at the moment, and strikers thrive off it, but he hasn't hit, as they say. Some he's had an awful game and he's gone back out there and he's done it again. He hasn't shied away from it. That is one thing I'll give him massive props for, because some players, they would have let it get to him. He might have hit it. They may have hidden a bit. He hasn't done that. He's tried to get involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pop said only the players on the left were on a positive vibe for him. Lucho takes that volley a bit better than better. He beats Henderson. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. And Lucho was on the right on that side for that volley at least. But who was that?
Yeah. Where he should play. I always say Diaz on the right, Gakpo on the left. Okay.
Yeah.
He looks okay there. He does, yeah.
Yeah. Lot of different opinions, or not a lot of certain opinions on Nunez. I personally, I'm not a big. I disagree with Stefano in the sense of with the Isaac shout. Isaac's way too injury prone for me.
He's made of biscuits, man.
Yeah, to invest that kind of money into him. It'd be great. It's great that he's a good player, but it is what
it is. Goals.
Yeah.
Oh, what on his day? If you got 35 games out of him,
yeah.
But you'd be just crossing your fingers every week.
How about for Salah? You want to speak about players that that we're not that you can't necessarily go on a rant about being not having football IQ and all the other things I saw in the chat. What do you guys go about Salah, who is another player that is not in form right now, who is lacking in form, to say the least? And again, what's really interesting about our front line, I told you what the numbers were. Nunez with his touches. I said what the number was for Diaz for his touches. 46 touches is what Salah ended up getting yesterday. Mm-hmm. And unlike the other two, he played a full night.
Well, that's the thing. Mo was on the pitch for the whole game,
Yeah, he played a full night. So 46 touches, was 19 out of 24, which is 79% for his passing. 5 key passes, which is exceptional. 2 for 2 for crosses, 3 for 3 for his long balls. 2 out of 8 for ground duels, so he was getting somewhat involved in trying to at least track back, or at least incorporate himself into to the press. Lost the ball 15 times, but had 1 foul, was fouled twice, was offside once. Kind of interesting that offsides like you don't really see Mo Salah go offsides too often. As of late, we have been. He had the goal, where he was offsides for this one now too. Is that someone pressing maybe a little bit too much, trying to get a little bit of an advantage, to kind of like get that easy goal? What would you have rated? What would you have given Salah for his play yesterday, Irishman?
Well, I can't really, because of the ratings I gave the other guys, I can't
You gotta be,
really,
yeah, no
say,
favorites.
even though I think he was just by virtue of what I saw, the fact he
Oof.
was on the pitch a little bit longer, I would have given him more. But in terms of effectiveness, pretty much
Mhm.
what we've been seeing the last few games, a kind of a shadow Mo, a player who definitely looks like Mo Salah and, does Mo Salah things in terms of where he runs and how he shoots and all that, but it isn't the same end result. So excuse me, in so much as that we have a captain tax,
Mhm.
I think there's a bit of a Mo tax as well
Mhm.
because he's sort of the captain of that front line, as it were,
He is.
and and because it does fall to him a lot.
You're gonna get the biggest plate. I mean, you're getting the biggest
So,
serving. You're getting.
so I gave Thingy a 0. I gave Diaz 15, I think. So I give Mo 10.
Okay. JK.
15, bro. I think non-existent. Like another guy coming back from injury. So our expectations are he's going to be the same Salah before he got injured. And I think that's why we're suffering right now because so many people are in the team who have just come back from injury. And it's going to take time for each one to sort of settle down, Salah got the winner against Brighton, got us the point against United. So very important to us.
Mhm.
But for me, people's talking about like Salah, this, and that. This ain't the time to talk about that right now. Let's just
Yeah.
wish the guy starts scoring again, That's the main
Yeah.
thing.
Salah was a negative 40 for
Wow, Jesus!
that's
I think that
rough.
is that's our lowest ever
It's got to be. Is that? I'm
score.
hoping that's just like a. This is my score. Dash. This is my score. Not a negative 40. That is rough right there. Rasta Crab gave him a 10. Lee gave him a 30. Maybe even a 25. He says. Okay. Beijing Pop says Mo was rubbish. He has set the highest standard, so he needs to be better. He gives him a 20. Mo short passes are horrendous, but I would never take him off. He can be out of the game for 89 minutes in a goalless game, and he gets a goal and wins 3 points. Bernadette says, spot on about that. 25 from Steven. Let's see. Who else? Stefano gave him a 15. Wow. Okay. Let's get him. Jeez. He's got to have that tax. So let's get him at 15. Get him at 15. How about that? All right, so here we go with the substitutes. We'll rifle through these substitutes because we might be having a guest join us in a little bit here. For the subs, 5 subs were used yesterday. So we did get to see quite a few names that could have brought us some type of result, considering the names that were used in the subs. Let's see if I, 1 second, let me bring this down. Whenever I bring up my substitute tile, it always wants to mess with me.
Yeah,
Oh,
and a new game,
it's
a new game for the chat, Who could 12 man possibly have coming on as a potential surprise guest? Put your answers in the chat. Who could
there
it
you go.
possibly be? Will it
There you
be?
go.
Will it be that guy from Redman TV? Or will it be K-Mac?
Okay.
Anyone in between?
or maybe someone else, or maybe none of those people.
I was just trying to go from A to Z,
Curtis.
and K was as far as I got. Zuberi,
Oh, I got you.
Zuberi.
Zaberi's the Z. Zaberi's the Z.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But all right, so for substitutes, let me make sure I bring this correct. All right, so substitutes. Our first substitute was that we're gonna rate is Dom. Let's do Dom. We'll start off with Dom. What was your rating for Dom?
25.
I'll give him
Yeah.
I'll give him a 30. So yeah, not a lot to say.
He should have scored as well. He passed Jota instead. It was perfect from the right foot to his left foot, tap it into the goal. You know, mad.
Right.
It's them sort of decision making is costing us. You know, yesterday Endo should have scored,
I know.
Darwin should have
I know.
scored, and so
Yeah.
they should have all sort of scored. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. If you do need any stats for any of these players, just tell me. I'll bring them
No,
up.
not the subs. No need for the subs.
Not for the subs. Okay. Because I mean, he did get quite a bit of. He got subbed in at the 46th minute. Obviously, like pretty much at the half. So, you know, he did get quite a bit of time to actually make something happen and do something on the pitch. He got subbed on. Or he actually got subbed. He didn't come off with the other sub. Actually, Trent came on 2 minutes later. But what was your rating for him, the Irishman?
I just give him a 40. Yeah.
A 40. Okay. Dom got a 40 from Philip, 35 from Pops, 35 from Lee, 60 from Dustin, and a 10. We need a Rasta rant. Yeah, true. Rasta crab. We do need a Rasta crab rant. Wow. Okay, so I mean, it's a step up from his former 50. He got a 15 in his last rating. Oh, that was a step up from there. Let's stick with. Actually, I don't know if I could even give him that score. I was going to give him a 40. Was that too much? Maybe a 35.
I gave him a 40, so you'd be going under me.
Yeah. I see some of the 40s, 35s, 35, 40, pretty much are the consensus. So I'll stick with 35. How about for Trent? Trent's someone that I said was possibly, or not possibly, was hands down the most, the biggest player, the player that I'm looking forward to joining. I'm looking for every player joining us back from injury. But I thought that possibly Trent could have had the biggest impact from his return to the team. Looked a little rusty. Definitely isn't exactly the Trent that going into the season, in the sense of like that fit, like, well fit Trent. He's gonna have to find his pace and find his form.
May not have come on.
Huh?
May not have come on even. We never know.
May not have come on if not for
we never even know, because we know he was rusty. Definitely, like there's no way that was the plan to bring him on.
Right.
No.
Right.
So he may have been planned to get 10 or 15.
Yeah. He said the same thing that you just said. Yeah, he just doesn't think Trent would have come on so soon if Crowley hadn't been injured.
No chance. So hey, look, maybe it might work in our favor. You get some early minutes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I go the same. He didn't really do a whole lot. Give him a 40.
Just
average.
One key pass for the 6 touches, but definitely looked a little rusty. Went on 2 first ground duels. I do think Trent is going to have to start next game, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with the injury, it doesn't give us much choice other than either starting him or starting Gomez. And I think that, it's going to be, we're at a place and figure where Gomez doesn't bring us the offensive, output that we would be looking for in a game that we're going to have to throw everything against the wall to get those goals going in that game. So what would you
get? Does he start against Atalanta? I mean, he
Yeah.
could even start. He
Yeah,
could even.
I think he has.
Yeah, he could forget the next Premier League game. He might even be starting the next game.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I think he has to start.
So what's next in the next Premier League game is
Fulham
Fulham
Fulham's the next
Yeah.
Fulham's the next
away, yeah.
game.
away.
Then
It's away.
Everton.
And then
Yeah.
yep. What did you give JK? What did you give Trent?
Yeah, Rusty 25-30, bro.
Okay. Let's see.
Good to
trying
see him
what
back
this-
anyway. That's the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the chat gave him. Let's see. Trent was rusty. 35, 35, 50 from Dustin, 45 from Philip. You guys gave him your scores. I'm gonna give him a 40. 40. Gave what he could, but you know, it is what it is.
Don't make me fight you,
right,
Inate. Don't make me fight you.
Let's go with let's go with Cody. That was not his score, by the way.
Oh, and sorry. I forgot to mention something. Dustin said earlier on that the comments about his ratings were starting to annoy me. If that's me, I'm only joking with you. But yeah, I would if it's annoying you, I will stop. I'm sorry, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
serious.
It's only bro, Dustin. He's only trying to poke the bear a little bit. Trust me. If you think he's tough on your ratings and your takes, I'll have you listen to some of the backstage stuff that we talk about sometimes. So,
Pretty
how are you
excellent.
guys rating Cody? Cody's an interesting I'll just give this little tidbit for Cody. Cody's
He
very
goes
interesting.
involved.
Cody has been the target for a lot of people's he's been the scapegoat, I would say, for the last couple of games. Not these last 2 games, but the last couple of games before that. But now all of a sudden, Cody hasn't been the brunt of everyone's ire because he's had some actually decent games. He's actually been playing pretty well.
Everyone needs a goat to escape.
Yeah, for sure.
They all need a goat to escape at the end of every game. I don't know what we're not, but anyway, yeah, it's because he's not playing enough. Yeah, he's not playing enough to get slagged off. You know, it's not like there's so many other players doing so much obviously worse. But yeah, we were doing well ish, results wise at least, on the pitch. Yeah, he did get a lot of he's not this, he's not that. But it's always going to be a product of
what is happening?
Putting him in his right position. He means, yeah, what is he a left winger? Is he a striker? Or is he number 8, number 9? I just want to see, basically, this is very simple. And it is very, very simple. I just want to see Cody Gakpo play 20 games for Liverpool in a row, proper games, in a single position. And then we can, and say that's in that Diaz position, say Diaz is out for 2 months, right? Then you can make a judgment on it. You cannot judge this guy when he comes on. He plays 20 minutes on the left, then he comes on for the next game. He plays half an hour through the middle. Then he's on the bench. Then he comes on again. Then he's on the left again. Then he's in the middle. Then he's in midfield. It's like, how the hell do you know? Like, how can anybody judge him on how good he is or what he is? Because he's never had a proper, consistent, genuine run in any position. So it's so difficult with him because he's obviously got all the ability and all the talent, the size, the strength, the physique, shooting capabilities, finishing abilities. What more do you want from a player? But you just give him a position and give him a proper run in it, and then we can also aren't on the inside super fan or super tacticals. Give us 20 games to watch where he plays every week in the same position, and we go, okay, cool, that's what he is. And, do you know what I mean? Is that you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you're saying. I get that. I mean, that was often something that people would put out there as like in his defense, but quite often people just weren't even weren't even acknowledging it. They just didn't like the fact that wherever he was playing, they weren't getting the kind of output that they were interested.
Where does he play for Holland? When he plays for Holland, where does he play?
He plays like as like a shadow striker, like as a plays as a striker, and he plays as a left wing, but he plays also as a like a
left
they
winger.
play as like a sometimes they'll have Memphis play as like the lead striker, and then he kind of is like that shadow striker behind him.
So same as with us, then different role every time he plays, or different role, different opposition. I know it works with the Dutch; they're built like that. But yeah, but I've said it before, and Pops has said it. Like with a lot of these people, that versatility that is so much of a kind of positive can actually be to your detriment. After a while, when you just never nail down that one position. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. It sounds silly to say it, and the whole thing about the Dutch system as well is gets overblown a little bit. They can play. The whole idea is that every player should be able to play in any given position, but that's kind of, they do that right kind of through the younger ranks. So basically, everybody plays 6 months in a different position. But they don't actually expect them to that throughout their entire careers, Like Ruud van Nistelrooy, Marco van Basten, it's not like, oh, he can play on the left, he can play on the right. It's like, no, they're strikers, lads. So they do still have defined roles. It's just that if they were needed to, they can. But they do still need to nail down a position. But Gakpo is a brilliant player to have. Brilliant player.
What would you have given him, JK?
I would give him a 50. He's just showing a bit of fight, in the last 2 games and stuff. But as everyone else is saying, he's not getting enough game times, and knowing he's going to start the next game. He did when we had that injury crisis. He was getting game time, but he didn't really do nothing. So that's another thing, consistency with him as well. Him, Jones, there's a few players where the consistency isn't always there because of you don't know when they're going to be playing.
I'm gonna give him a 55. I think Cody has just been, putting on the hard hat and just like basically going to work in the sense of like he's not taking shots really. That's like as in he's just doing more of the like tracking people down, being consistently on the ball with the press, just doing the compounds of what can possibly create for us on the offensive end. So, and that brings us to Diego. I'll make sure you see the score there, 55. That brings us to Diego, who again everyone was very, very high on him coming back, and I was too, and I think we all are as well. But I think all of us were looking at Diego as, oh, that's our savior. He'll be our savior, as into like, oh, the person that brings back these goals. That's normally the Jota, the Shata, or Hata the Shata, as I like to call him. He's again a player that is having to find his form once again, get back to the standards and the fitness that he deserves or that he's used to being at. He's still a little, as Stefano says, I think he's still got a little rust on him, and he needs to definitely.
I think out of all of them, right, is he not the one was at the longest?
Yeah, possibly.
Was it Trent? Maybe
Trent, or because
he's been out a while.
Trent got hurt in that FA Cup game against Arsenal. Did Diego get hurt in December, or was it? I don't think he was hurt in December.
Oh no, it's not that far back.
Well, he was hurt in December and he returned in December.
Oh yeah, but the one that he's come back from is Brentford.
Yeah, I think Trent's been the longest injury, at least on the people that we've, the guys that have come back to training as of late. Obviously, Bashetic is the longest technically, but he hasn't completely returned just yet to the fold. What would you rate it, Diego, JK? What would you give him, Diego?
Yeah, I'll give him a 40, bro. Just as good to see him back as well.
Okay. Brian, one shot on target, one shot off target.
Yeah,
0.49
so
XG.
that's just in terms of league games. The last time he started a league game was Brentford,
Yep.
which was when was that? What date was that? Basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. And he's still at since he started in the league. So yeah, he's definitely going to be
Rusty for sure.
yeah.
February is when he was out. Yep.
That goes back to February, does it? Yeah. So I just want to have a quick look at no, not that. So yesterday,
I think
25 XG
he missed this. Yeah, he missed
0.49,
this. He did miss a
XG
sitter, but the best thing he
0.50.
didn't miss. He missed a sitter, but it was blocked. Like I don't even understand how it was blocked. To be honest with you, like you watch that thing on replay as many times as you want. You could just say to yourself, I don't understand. Even he was like, did that just happen? Did that just happen? Because that was pretty nuts.
Yeah, I'd just go with a 40 again. Only had like 25 minutes. So.
Yeah. How about for you, JK?
30, bro. Yeah.
30? Okay, so make sure.
Yeah, should have scored as well.
Yeah, so make sure I got it correct. All right. 25. Let's see. 25 in the chat. Let's see who else got scored. 30 in the chat from Dustin. 60 from Philip. Sometimes everyone's scores make it so difficult to figure out where we should go with it. I'm going to go with 40 for Diego. He could have been a savior yesterday. Could have been a savior. Unfortunately, it just wasn't. Last but not least, Harvey only got on for 8 minutes. I don't know if it is really.
No. I can't rate.
You know what I mean? Like
no,
8 minutes. I mean, like
it.
I almost want to rate him only in the sense of like by giving him a decent score, considering he came on and actually looked like he was like making an earnest effort to try to like bring about something. But yeah, we're gonna skip on Harvey. So whoops, that's not his score, by the way. Let's give the last score. Last scores for Jurgen. What are we rating Jurgen at? JK, what's your rating for Jurgen?
I think he got it wrong yesterday, bro. 25. Playing Endo, not fit, big mistake, and taking Darwin off and not taking Jones off, another mistake there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just think him starting Endo just wasn't right. I don't know why you kept on starting him again. So that's why I give Klopp 25.
Mm-hmm. Steven gave him a 15. You gave him a 25. JK, okay. K-Mac gave him a -10. What are you going to give Mr. Klopp?
Well, I think Mr. Klopp and also Mr. Linders got taught a lesson yesterday by a manager who only in the last 3.5 seconds have I remembered the name of. Glasner, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm like. A guy like I was just thinking, I was like, yeah, we got done over by oh Christ, what's his name? And JK was talking the whole time. JK was talking. I couldn't even remember this guy's. It had just gone out of my mind. So this is a guy who has basically come out of absolutely nowhere. No one's ever heard of this guy. People who watch the Bundesliga or whatever, they might know him. But this guy, like, he won the Conference League twice. Yeah, I've never heard of him, Came. I've never heard of the guy, right? So he comes out of there and shows up. I know there seems to be a little bit of, they just copied what Atalanta did. And if they did copy what Atalanta did and pulled it off themselves, then, fair play to them, because it kind of looked like exactly what Atalanta did to us. So he got completely and utterly schooled by Oliver Glasner.
Mhm.
You know, he looked completely out of ideas. Like he's looked out of ideas for a while. When Plan A doesn't work, we've always been a little bit short in the Plan B area. We've never been big on Plan B. Now I don't think Plan A is as devastating as the old Plan A. So when it doesn't work, he really doesn't look like he's got many. You know, he's not. We're not changing. Like we're not coming out. We're just changing pieces on the board.
Mhm.
We're not changing formation. We're not changing tactics. It's just we're taking this guy on. We're bringing that guy off. Not always like for like, but pretty much when the pieces get moved around, they just get moved into the same positions. We play the same way. We try the same things. So this was very much a case of, like I said, this is what, and I don't blame Klopp for this, but this is what happens when the players know that a manager is leaving. When the chips are down, you know, it's fine to, like he said, to jump on the train when the train is moving. He doesn't want players that want to jump on a moving train. He wants players that want to push the train, start the train, be there at the start and get it going and then jump on. He doesn't want players who just want to come in when it's already, you know, nearly at the top. He wants these guys to come in. That's his whole thing. When you're leaving in 3-4 years, that whole motivation, that kind of talk, that goes out the window as soon as the incentive to, well, that's one competition gone, that's another competition gone. So all these guys are looking around going, well, actually, at the end of the day, this guy is out here in a month and a half. He's not really in charge of my career. The energy drops off. His energy has dropped off. You could see it on the pitch. He looked like he was just standing there with his arms out and that smiley head on him going, what can you do? What was that? No answers. And there was no answers. That's the problem. There were no answers. And where was Pep Linders, by the way? Because this is half of his fucking pet project as far as I'm concerned. He's diluted the whole thing down to what he wants. Controls. Oh, wow, control. You know, control and what? Sterile domination. The definition of sterile domination.
How about for you, JK?
Yeah, I said 25, bro.
If you wanted to say, if you wanted to go into a little more depth, I meant. Yeah.
No, did we expect anything different? I always said, as soon as we heard the news about Klopp leaving, I said this isn't going to go well, you know. And now we're seeing that in conjunction with the injuries. It's got to a point now where the players just looked a bit. The whole club looks a bit tired. You know, we're going through it. We just last few weeks is just being a bit off and stuff, and maybe Klopp can't wait to leave and stuff like this. But he's a football manager. He wants to leave by winning the Premier League. So I can't see anything wrong in that way. But just like off-field things and stuff like that could have really been a lot on his plate. And the side effects now are sort of players looking drained. Klopp sort of not really being passionate yesterday about the game as he normally is and stuff. So I just hope this week they chill, sort their heads out and get ready for these 2 games we've got coming up. And what Stefano said in the chat about Marteta, we made that guy look like he was King Kong, you know. Like the whole game, he was just like messing around with Kanate and Virgil. Hence why they got so low scorings, you know. I think as soon as you see a player sort of messing around with their centre backs, you know that's going to carry on in the whole game, and it did. Embarrassing. Metacad can't even play football that good, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's harsh now.
That says, yeah.
That is harsh.
Yeah. Big up to Sean, by the way. Big up. Welcome. And his what he has to say here is pretty spot on. Poor starts in so many games is unacceptable. The sheer fact that in the first 20 minutes we've gotten scored on quite a bit, or that we looked a little bit like we had to, you know, rev up the engine, get the engine warmed up before we actually get into gear. That's concerning. I don't understand why that is so often the case with the club. It's not like we don't have the players. It's not like I think it's not like we don't have the players to produce that. I know that one thing he did say Klopp said in the beginning of the season is that we want to become a possession-based team. Having players like Maka, was going to help create that. The emergence of Curtis Jones, having players that we can somewhat rely on in cases like that would have been like certainly something that we could have not only controlled the midfield but been able to have possession in the midfield. That would have been certainly nice. But yeah, so it's a matter of like though it's a matter of figuring out like what is the reason why. I don't know. I don't have an answer pretty much. I don't know why we can't start games off better. Like as in it's crazy that we got what we got when we got I'm going blank on the team. When we got the Europa game that we got the 7 goals in. Prague.
Oh, Prague.
Yeah,
sorry.
Prague. I don't know why I went past my name. When we went against Prague, we started that game off and we were saying, "Oh my goodness, this is the team we thought we had all season." This is the kind of like real competitive club that we thought we had, and then we've gotten rusty starts from there. Rusty, to say the least.
Yeah, but for me, for Klopp to get the best out of our attackers, he needs to make sure that we score the first goal, because with that comes space. It's just logic, As soon as we let a goal in, what we've done most of the season is that them guys are dropping, and to get space for Salah and Darwin to run into, you ain't gonna get that. Hence why the number one thing is get that first goal. Number one tactic.
Yeah, for sure.
But Nolante, it's true. Nolante says, Brian, it's true if we end up with just Carabao, 1 PL in 9 years. Come on, man. We've won a lot more than just a Carabao Cup and the Premier League in 9 years. We've won a lot more than that.
Yeah,
there's a Champions League in there as well, It's not just that. I'm sure maybe you're short of space or whatever, but like, yeah, let's not rip it. Yeah, let's not. But I'm just saying, look, this Jurgen Klopp team, this Jurgen Klopp side, this Jurgen Klopp era, it's over. I mean, it's basic. It's got like a couple of minutes. It's got like a couple of days left in it. Like, so it's about what you can get out of it in the final few games. What you can get out of it. We can still win it. Like until the table says otherwise, you're still in it. Until mathematically it says you cannot win the league, you're still in it.
Okay, so
like until we're out of the Europa League, we're still in it. But this whole era is coming to an end.
No, you're right.
To an end. So let's get the best out of it. But to me, it's the energy has dropped. So it's going to take a hell of a job. It's going to take a hell of a job.
I'm going to do this. So I'm going to bring in our guests. And also
drum roll.
Give Jurgen a 10 as well as being his rating. I'm sure he'll probably put on his own rating. He promised not to scream and shout, so let's hold him to it. But let me make sure that I have this all set up. All right, so let's bring him in now. Welcome, K-Mac.
Big up, guys. No, I promise not to shout. You know what? You just said something then about you were talking about going behind in games, and I'm trying to work out. I've been trying to work out, like, because you know how upset I was and disappointed about Palace. Like, and I'm sorry if I shouted at any of you, by the way, over the last couple of days, because I've just not been great over that, and I've been trying to work out why we haven't been good, like, going forward, and why we haven't really been able to finish things off. And The only thing I can think of about the way we've been is because teams don't we don't counter attack on teams anymore, because they don't need to attack us, because they're already 1-0 up in the first 20 minutes. And that's what we're so deadly at. That's
There you go.
what Liverpool
Yeah.
FC have been so good at doing. And that's why Salah isn't being the way Salah normally is. Like, he's not scoring the type of goals Salah scores. You know, he's not having those really clear-cut chances anymore. And we don't seem to have that in our team because we don't get counter-attacks. Like, that Curtis Jones counter-attack was so random because it was the only one we had in the game, by the way. So, and I know he should have scored it. Like, I totally know he should have scored it. Like I can guarantee that he's gonna feel the worst over anyone because he's a red, and you know he's from our youth team. Like, he's a Scouser. Like, he's one of our own. So for him to miss that, he's gonna be really cut up about it. But that's all I can think of is when you go a goal down, the team isn't going to attack you anymore. So you're going to have to play against them. So they're going to be even harder to beat because they are going to do 2 banks of 4 and they are going to sit back. And then we get done on the counter because we're trying to attack them. So that's when our defence does look shaky again. And that's when you do see these clear-cut chances and you go, oh my God, Keller's done another worldie, Ali's done another worldie. Our defence looks all over the place. Why do we keep on getting taken down on the right-hand side or the left-hand side? Because we're not counter-attacking anymore. Because we're a goal down in the first 20 minutes. And that's what needs to stop. I guarantee if that didn't happen this season, I think we'd be having a different conversation and we'd be in a different place.
But it was happening with teams before we even went 1-0 down. Everton, Forest. These teams weren't trying to attack us. You know, putting in low blocks because they knew that was like, you can't be devastating Liverpool on the counter attack if there's no one attacking you to counter attack.
Yeah, I get you.
We've been facing that for a long time now, and we've been how long we saying, oh, Liverpool can't break down a low block.
But now it's even harder.
We haven't learned the other
down
bit
as well.
But this is what I'm saying, Kim. We've been dealing with these people negating our counter attack basically for a long time now. We still haven't learned how to change, and I think that's the problem. Maybe if you look back in 20 years, people will go, well, yeah, they probably should have moved on from what they were doing a lot earlier because we haven't changed. It's taken us years, and we're still incapable of breaking these teams down when they decide not to come out.
Right, it's 9 years with 4-3-3, and
I know,
we can, and we know exactly where they're going to be and what they're going to do. Like we know.
This is what I said earlier. They're not going. He's not going to change. When I said it, when he didn't know what to do, all he's doing is bringing on players, and it looks like he's changing things, but he's not. He's just bringing on different players, putting them in the same positions, asking them to do the same things. The tactics aren't changing. The formation isn't changing. He's run out of ideas, and he's just putting the same different people in the same positions and expecting it to change. But the tactics aren't changing. The approach isn't changing. I think it's so run its course. It's so obvious. It's just completely run out of gas.
Such a shame.
Well,
such a shame. And I wrote it in the chat as well. Like we haven't got the team to fight on all fronts this season. We just haven't. So I've no idea why we did. Like, we didn't need to win the Europa League. Like who cares? Like, we won the Champions League. Like, getting another Premier League should have been our priority. And when we had our noses in front, we should have just put all our eggs in that basket, because all we got to do is win our games and do what's in front of us. But playing Salah against Slavia Prague and McAllister, and I mean, you know how I feel, so I'm not going to go down that road. But like, it's just dumb. It's just dumb trying to win everything with a team that can't stay fit.
Yeah, that's what I was on about.
Nico Kovac.
Take.
Someone just said, "What do we think about Nico Kovac?"
Oh no, thanks.
He
No,
wasn't
no.
a bad player, to be fair, but manager, no.
Mm.
I still think we're getting Xabi Alonso. By the way, call me a madman,
You're a
but
madman.
I
You're
still
a
think we're getting
madman.
Xabi Alonso.
You're a madman. I my take on what everyone's been saying is like I can understand what you're saying. I also know that, for instance, I'm trying to think of what press conference it was in, because not often I know that often you see the lineups and when you see them and you say 4-3-3, and we understand that's the concept that we go with into almost every game. But in one of the press conferences, he was talking about how he made different changes, how he brought in different players, but he was also talking about the formations that they were taking on. He spoke on how he went into a 4-2-3-1 and how he, at one point he even went into a 4-4-2, like as in he does, despite the fact I get that sometimes we might not see the formations, and sometimes it's very difficult because we're not getting that whole field pitch like kind of concept of look to know, oh, I see where everyone is positioned up and everything else. We're just we're just getting the camera feeds from whatever broadcast we're getting. But I can attest though that I understand how you guys could see it as being he's starting to run out of ideas. I don't think that we didn't have a team that was set for a run at all the competitions. I think we've gotten, unfortunately, hit with a lot of injuries that, again, we've had this conversation. I know we went at length of every team has injuries, blah, blah, blah. Some teams, in my opinion, have injuries to more prominent players in their lineups, and it affects how those teams actually flourish or get to end up, producing any type of output on the pitch. But I also know that what we've seen from the youth academy, and I know that we got the youth academy players on this platform simply because of the injuries. It shows that we did have a little bit more depth. It's just more of we were somewhat forced into utilizing those players, and they've certainly stepped up. I mean, one of the biggest things I noticed, at least when we were coming into getting these players back, for instance, and this is going to what K-Mac was saying, and even somewhat what Brian was talking about with our limitations of JK's limit, not JK, not RJK, but the other JK's limitations on picking lineups, or figuring out how to get these lineups properly accented. Was that by getting Trent back, by getting all these players back, we're about to see youth players that have really made some really beneficial contributions to the team, that we're no longer going to be able to really find a way onto that roster, onto that, that starting lineup, or onto the bench in some cases. I'm optimistic in the sense of that we can make this title run still. I'm very optimistic. I think that a lot of the doom and gloomers out there, and I'm not saying that there's any in the chat, and I'm not saying any on the panel. I'm saying that I don't think that it is over. I still believe that there's still going to be more twists and turns coming for not only us, but I think for City, and I think for Arsenal as well. And I think, albeit City has probably less chance of those twists and turns knocking them off their path towards getting towards the title, but I do think that we could honestly make a considered run towards making the title run, and still maybe finding a little promise, a little magic, maybe against Atalanta.
I think after the injuries we've just had, to be in this sort of position, it's still okay. I think because we had the lead and stuff, I think fans are a bit peed off with that. But considering we had Bradley right back, Kwanzaa playing, and Clark, Elliott, majority of games, so you've got to be sort of lucky and sort of happy that we're still in with the shout, So
Yep. I mean, because all things considered, to say that, I get also a lot of people's dismay about Jurgen, but to have gotten the output and us being in a title run, it's pretty exceptional that we were even here.
Oh God, yeah,
But
absolutely,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to say?
I
You want to say something? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Personally, I think you just send over the kids under 21s to play against Atalanta. Honestly, like it's a Jurgen Klopp thing to send over
Mhm.
a full strength team and to get 2 injuries. It's
Mhm.
just a Jurgen Klopp thing. I'm sorry. It's what he does at the end of the season. Like
Mhm.
you won't see any kids on the bench. You won't see any kids in the team. Like he will play all of the seniors now. Like if Joel Matip was fit, he would have played. Like Quansah probably wouldn't even be on the bench. Like honestly, it's just a Jurgen thing. Just watch him over the years. He just plays all the
Mhm.
seniors right at the end of the season. Like for me, you just throw Jaden Dan's on for like 5 minutes against Palace. You never know. He might score a goal. The guy seems to score goals with his first touch at the moment. So but the thing about it for me is and I have to be. I'll get your honest answers on this. By the way, Quansah and Bradley both played for championship teams, and I'm not even talking like championship. I'm talking League One teams last season. If we signed
Mhm.
2 League One players, do you really think they play in our team? It's an honest answer. Seriously, like I don't think they've done badly, but I'm just asking the question: would you do that? Would you play these guys for 20 plus games? Like they've not been at fault for many things, but it's still you're playing a player which you would never play.
Mhm.
You wouldn't sign a League Two player and play him in the Premier League. You wouldn't. So why are you
I,
doing it now? Like why are you doing it now when you have your guys fit? You've got Canate, you've got Gomez, you've got fit players. You play them. Like I don't care. Like they're great players. They're going to be good players, no doubt. But you don't play them in the business end of the season because you wouldn't sign League Two players in the first place and play them in the Premier League. Like no one's done it. No other Premier League club's done it.
Mhm.
Why are we doing it? We don't need to now. We've got all the guys fit. I, this is it. It's these decisions. It's these things which make me angry. It's these things that are the fine lines between winning and losing.
I was trying to pull
Sorry,
up this.
guys.
I was trying to pull up the. I have a chart that I made a while back, but I don't think it's not. It wasn't up. It hasn't been updated with all of the results. But there was something that was said earlier too. Is that I get that our record against the top six is not good. That is
Awful.
that is
Two
something that's
draws, 2 draws, I think, and the
0 wins.
rest were
yeah.
no wins.
But
Can I just before you
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
before just I wanted to qualify what I was saying earlier in terms of Klopp not being able to change things and
Mhm.
yeah, of course we have changed to the inverted system.
Mhm.
Yeah, that has changed. We don't obviously still play with that two bombing center or two bombing wing backs and three workhorses in midfield. That has changed, and we become a different. I don't like what we become. I've said it over a long time now. I don't. We're a hodgepodge of Linder's tactics and Klopp tactics, and it's the worst of both worlds. But I don't really like it. It is what it is.
Brian, I call it
That
first
has
half,
changed.
second half.
Yeah, it
I
has
call it first
changed.
half Linders, second half Klopp
Yeah, exactly.
this
So
season.
when you look at him, what I mean in terms of when we do something, yeah, and we do have it goes from a box to a 4-2-4, and we defend in a 4-4-2. We do this, yeah. But what I'm saying, you can see him on the touchline now, just going. He doesn't know how to change it. He doesn't know how to impact what he's set up. He doesn't know how to make it work. That's what I'm saying. When he does, he brings off these guys. He's just putting people in the same. It's just, and this is not. This is incredible that we're talking about some guy who it's taken 9 years for him to run out of steam in the Premier League, one of the most competitive leagues in the history of football over the last 10 years, with the money and the teams, and he's still been. Most guys are burnt out, shot and done after 3 or 4 max. He's managed to do it for 9 years. I think that's the remarkable thing, that he's still doing it this long. How can we be? It's like that guy he's at the end of a marathon. Of course, he's knackered. It's most guys. This is like 9 years. Some managers would have done 3 clubs in that time, if not 4. So the fact that it's only taken to this point where it's starting. The magic was always going to wear off, but the fact that it's gotten this long is not unprecedented. You've got Guardiola doing it. You've got Ferguson, Wenger doing it for sim, but it's in the modern era for a manager to last this long at a club this big. That says a lot for how much time he's been given the chance to go from like 2nd to 6th and rebuild again and go again. When we look back on it, it'll be, we always say, well, we could have won this, we could have won that. But when you stand back and look at what he did, we'll be searching around for another one this good for a very long time.
Mhm.
But things need to change. It's a new room is needed. 10 years is too long. He needs a change. If he don't want to be here, see you later. Let's go again.
What I was about to bring up earlier, and all the panel and the chat, please do can comment on what I'm about to say. But one unique thing about our record against the top 6 or the big 6 is that City's record against them is on par, about the same. And it's kind of interesting. They've certainly had better results when it comes. The Crystal Palace result hurts when you try to look at the comparison between us and City. I'm not necessarily going against Arsenal, because Arsenal's had a lot of losses in their run this year, which is surprising, and yet that they're still competing for what they are. They've had losses against West Ham, right? And
Palace.
losses against.
Please let me talk about this, by the way. Please let me talk about this.
Are we not doing the top 6 record? No.
I was just talking in general. I was saying Arsenal's losses in general.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. City been shit again.
And at the time I had made my original PowerPoint here, West Ham was in 6th place at the time. That's why I see them as being up there. But go ahead.
Oh, you said West Ham. Sorry. Yeah. No, you said Palace. I was just wondering. So I was worried about. Yeah. No.
Oh, yeah. I was just talking about the sheer fact that that Palace got a result against. Palace has also gotten a result against City as well. Obviously,
Palace are City's bogey team, man. Look at last season; they lost twice. They are City's kryptonite.
Yeah.
No matter who the manager is, they beat them. No matter who, it's weird. It's definitely weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's probably the 2 players that City want to sign off them as well in the next year or 2, maybe.
Yeah, as Elise, yeah.
Now the interesting thing about that is, and it's weird this season, is you beat the dross, you win the league. That's what City is so good at doing. Like, City are so good at beating all the dross, and they get draws, and they maybe lose to us in the or they probably lose to maybe Tottenham or us most years just once, and they normally beat us, only normally beat Tottenham at home, but they beat all the dross and they win the league. That's normally what City do. And what we normally do is we normally beat all the good teams and then lose to the dross or draw to the dross. But this season, we've beaten all the dross and haven't done well against the big teams. And that's the way it would have planned out for us to win the league. But we've just lost to the dross. And that's the concern. And that's where ultimately probably where we're going to fail, because we lost to Crystal Palace and we drew to Luton. Coach it how you want. That's 4 points. Sorry, that's 5 points. It's 5 points dropped. It's a big gap to take. But that's how City have been so relentless, because they drop points against the big teams, but they just steamroll all the poor teams, and that's what Klopp's never been a brilliant manager at, is beating low block, big defenders. Klopp's never been good at beating big defenders. Like, that's why Italian managers do so well against them. Italian managers always have wily old 6 foot bloody centre backs who just know how to play the game. It is what it is. Like, new guy, hopefully he can beat the Dross.
Yeah, no, I was trying to look up because I saw Pops's comment about the fact that Arsenal's only lost. He must mean they've only lost one game in 2024. I got what you're saying. I was going to say Arsenal's also lost to Villa twice this year, which is surprising. They've lost to Fulham, they've lost to West Ham, they've lost to Newcastle. So they've had quite.
I've got to say as well, guys. Like, I was banging the drum about Unai Emery, banging the drum about this guy for probably about 2 years now. Like,
I think he's a good bridge coach.
He was the one we should have got last year. He was the one we should have got. Like,
to me,
he's a serial winner, that guy.
Yeah, for me, K-Mac, he'd be someone like, if say, just in let's create a situation where we know in 2 years' time Xabi Alonso is going to be available from Leverkusen, and he wanted to come in, and you needed a bridging manager. He's someone that can come in and he can take a squad, and he's basically going to finish that squad where it should finish, pretty much. If it's a third place or a second place, he's not going to take a team and turn it into an amazing thing. Like, if you look at that Villa squad, you look at the players, I reckon they're going to finish a tiny bit higher maybe than they should do, but that's only because of Man United dropping off. And Chelsea dropping off. I think Unai Emery is going to, if you needed someone to just come in and steady the ship for a year, like I'm with what Pops is saying. I don't think he takes your club and takes it to the next level. I just think he's someone who basically isn't going to drop it and break it and it's burning to the ground by the time he leaves. He's just a really solid, top quality European coach, but it would be with a view to someone else.
Are Villa still in the FA Cup?
The FA Cup? I
Are Villa
don't
still in it?
think so.
Chelsea,
Don't think so. No.
Okay.
United.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
Okay.
They're definitely not.
I thought he might still be on for the double, but he could definitely. He could definitely win a cup.
Yeah, that's him. Like, how he's won all those Europa leagues with Sevilla. He's the kind of guy that wins a club that's in sixth place, a trophy.
And then went to Villarreal and did it.
The only thing he would have been good for is us getting a Champions League or a Europa League title is most likely what he would have amounted for us this year. I don't know if he necessarily brings us into title contention or brings us to that next level where when we do get in the Champions League, do we actually contend with Emery? I think Emery's a talented coach, but I don't think so.
But that's the thing about it. He'll have a squad
and
a club which can compete. Like Aston Villa, like he took over Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa, they probably would have got relegated with Stevie, to be honest. They weren't
far off it, mate. They weren't far off it.
And he literally turned Ollie Watkins into this monster. And the crazy thing as well, Brian, and the crazy thing you said before about Klopp going for like 9 years solid, I just feel like all he needed was a Harry Kane or
Lewandowski.
He just needed a Lewandowski, a Harry Kane. He needed one of those players, just the key man in attack, who could get those goals. And we probably still have him.
Imagine Suarez under Klopp.
We won a few more titles.
Imagine Suarez under Klopp. I said this. We were doing one of those weird type of shows, I said
clinical finisher away from being.
Suarez would have almost guaranteed us. I would have said one more league title. And potentially another year. But a prime Luis Suarez in this prime Jurgen Klopp side, I would go on record as saying I think that would have guaranteed us one more league title and potentially another European Cup. Just to have him scoring 35 goals in come on, like.
I mean, Luis Suarez in the first 2 years of him being at Atletico Madrid when he was in his 30s, Jesus Christ, he won
exactly. I mean,
yeah, I know what you mean. Just one. It was literally one guy. I felt like it was one guy away, just one top player away from just being, the quad, another European Cup, and another 2 leagues. Like seriously, and it breaks my heart. Like it really does as a Liverpool fan to just be that close so many times. Always the bridesmaid.
Yeah, no doubt. Big up to Ends. See him
Ben.
on. I know Ends is on holiday right now, so big up to Ends, man. TV.
Oh, Sunshine Ends.
Oh yeah, he got a bonus, didn't he? He got a bonus for that assist.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought. Yeah, I was like, okay, I got it. I got you. You got to get out of town, but by helping Crystal Palace win since he's on the pitch there.
Sorry, Ed. Somebody joking.
Yeah, that is it. Was it doppelganger or how to say double? Yeah. Was it
doppelganger?
Doppelganger. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I said that stat. It's just a weird stat when you look at it though earlier. Our rate, the losses or the draws that we've had so far, obviously against like Luton and games like that. Those are the games that are going. Those are the games that have ultimately going to are going to have like those are the games that we should have gotten the results from, obviously. But it doesn't make any less importance on those games against the teams that we are competing in this title race against. They're even more so the games I think that we have to try to get some type of result, because when you play against a City or you play against Arsenal, and if those are the teams that you're going against for the title, to make up points, those are the few opportunities that you have to make up points. That's why I was bringing up that stat. So it is what it is, I guess. We basically what happens right now is, we march on. What else can you do? So now we have bring the Irishman back in here. Whoops. So now we have Atalanta on the 18th, right? And then we're going to face Fulham and then Everton. Finally get that game out of the way, in the sense of that rescheduled game that's been pushed around, pushed back until trying to find a date that we could utilize it in. So yeah. So I guess what we say is saying, guys. How are you feeling about our chances against Atalanta? Are you feeling good or feeling bad? You think it's a wrap, or are you guys going to tune in and watch?
Well, you got to watch it. You got to.
the last time we beat Go on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I know.
The last time we beat Atalanta at their ground, by the way, Jota scored a hat-trick.
Yeah. Last time we played there was 5-0.
Jota scored a hat-trick. He needs to do the same.
Yeah, we could still have a we still have a result. We can still get a result. It's not over till it's over. Irishman, what are you going to say?
That score will do it. We were on the show there with Frank, and I was giving it. The neutrals will be saying, "Well, look, 3-0 down. If any team is going to go away in Europe now and do it, that'll be Liverpool. That'll be typical Liverpool to go and do that in a European game." And that's really all I can kind of cling on to, is because, statistically, 99 times out of 100, whatever it is, a team going away from home 3-0 down, they don't progress. They just don't. It doesn't matter if you're Real Madrid, Liverpool, but we are probably one of those teams that, in the back of your mind, you're kind of half expecting, well, if we get that first goal, then you're going to start thinking, we're only 2 away. You're only, like, if we get an early goal, It only takes 2 more to take it to extra time.
Yep.
And then, so it's. But to be honest, I'm not saying it's a first goal the winner kind of game, or a next goal the winner kind of game. But if they score the first goal early, like we do with Palace, like we did with them, like we do with frickin' everybody, we make a mistake after 8 minutes and we're 1-0 down. Well, that's 4-0. Then the stuff changes very quickly, and this is when the whole Klopp basically leaving becomes.
Right.
This is where that comes into it, because
Yeah.
this is where the energy is going to drop off there. So if they score the first goal, that's going to be. I mean, even by our standards, we're built on this. We are built on this, man. We're built on San Etienne. We're built on Istanbul. We're built on Barcelona.
Right.
This is going to be another. This is going to be another Barcelona to go and
It
do
has
this.
to be. It has to be. But no,
exactly.
you know what's in our favor though, Brian, too, is that there's no away goals. The away goals thing isn't involved in this scenario. So, it would have hurt us with a 3-0 loss at home and having to go and then having to get a phenomenal run at their grounds. But the sheer fact that the away goal doesn't factor in like that, I think that's going to be in our favor, or could possibly be in our favor. Well,
you know what I can't get my head around about that game as well is like we went like 1-0 down, yeah,
Mhm.
and we were playing like there was no second leg. Like we were playing like we had to win the game, so we were just wide open. Like it was really,
that's a good point.
It was just,
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
It was such not a Liverpool thing to do. Like
Mhm.
it just didn't feel like a Klopp thing to do. Klopp's always good over 2 legs.
Mhm.
And it was like, okay, yeah, we're 2-0 down. Okay, let's just take it at 2-0 then. Like, let's not chuck everyone up front.
Yeah, at 2-0, they just said, right, enough is enough damage limitation. Yeah, exactly. That's a really good shout, man, to be honest with you.
It's weird. It was weird.
He did. He played it like it was a one-off game.
It was
But
mad.
that's the thing about it is that like it's going to be very interesting. Like, I don't know if this Italian team can just park the bus against us. I don't think they want to.
The thing for me though is I don't know what Klopp's gonna do. Like you just don't know whether he's gonna throw everyone at it or he's gonna throw no one at it. Like he's been so unpredictable with his lineups. Like did you really think he was gonna play a full strength team like Virgil van Dijk against Slavia Prague, who you were winning 5-1 already?
Yeah.
Like it's bonkers. Like
you just don't know. Some weird choices. Yeah, some weird choices.
You just don't know with this team. It could be everything. It could be nothing.
Yeah.
If it's something in between, then that'll just annoy me even more.
Mm-hmm.
Like you either go for it or you don't.
Right.
Like, don't go half.
Yeah.
Like because you're losing 3-0.
Yeah, depends on the lineup. Depends on the lineup what we see. As soon as we see Salah, Virgil playing, that means we're going for it. Should be.
Yeah.
So the other players have to be on par, as good as them,
Yeah. I'm going to read these last 2 comments, and then we're going to give everyone the last say.
Quite late.
We are still in with a better chance of the Prem than any year other than the one we won. Last time we came close, we had chased them from 13 points behind at Christmas. That's a good point, Lee. That's a very good point. Honesty says, when Roos scored, I was like, it's done. And then Mr. Best CB in the world, sarcasm, love making. Okay. I got you. Scored the winner. Yeah.
Dortmund, Denny.
Yeah.
Dortmund
Yep. And then we have Nilante, absolutely. We have to go for it. No other choice. Yeah. We're not gonna just lie down and admit defeat. And
we've got to win there at least, because that will take us to Sunday's game. Us we've got to win. We haven't we haven't won in like how many games now? 3, 4?
Yeah. Well, primarily been averaging about 3 to 4 goals a game, pretty much, until as of late. which is kind of weird.
Weird.
I mean, like it's been a pretty much a given. That's why that 3-1 score that K-Mac loves so much too. You know, like that 3-1 score is often the case of being one of the common results, especially even on away games too. But we'll see. We'll see. Look, I want to thank you guys for joining me today in the chat, on the panel. K-Mac, do you want to give a shout? Do you want to say any parting words before?
No, big up everyone, and just keep the faith. Like Arsenal will drop points. Manchester City might. We just need to keep on winning, and
Yeah.
up the Reds. Big up, guys.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yep.
Sorry, I wasn't angry today.
No. It's a more
It's good to be chilled, man.
it's the K-Mac I like. I like this K-Mac. This is cool. All right. Irishman, do you have anything to say before we let the people off to their final destinations?
Yeah, I just think if Gasparini can convince his Atalanta players that that game is 0-0, it's over. If they get this weird thing, because this is our only hope, is that, like, how do you set a team up to play when you're 3-0 up?
Yeah.
They won't stop back.
Yeah.
Automatically, they will
That's
just
what I was
drop
saying.
back.
Yeah. Yep.
And if we hit them early, but if they come out and play, but that game, I think K-Mac is right. I don't want to see a bit of this and a bit of that. I don't want to see Clark. But Endo was playing. Dan's is playing.
Oh,
but
so you
Salah
just want to
and
see
Diaz,
the lineup that
just go for it.
you would expect to see, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
just go for it and
Yeah.
because we can take the work on the legs. Let's say, minutes here, minutes there, whatever. But let's go there, and if you win it, then take that energy into the Fulham game, because that's we've no other. We need to get something to get us going again. And if going there and
Yes,
putting
we
off,
do. We need something to jumpstart us. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Jumpstart. If we can jumpstart this team again, and what better way to do it than go and do a typical Liverpool crazy European away comeback job? I mean, trademark. Literally crazy European comeback by Liverpool. Trademark. It's just what we built our whole ethos on. It's why people love Liverpool and stuff like that. So until the final whistle goes, yeah, it ain't over. Nothing's over.
JK, last words?
Yep. Same as what Brian's saying. Until it's not over, it's not over. You got to support the team and stuff, and just win the next game to win the next game to win the next game. Momentum,
Yeah.
Peace to all the
Let's
people
see
in
the
the
flags.
comments. Yeah.
Let's see some flags.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Just go win it 3-0. Even just
Wait,
go there and win.
are you saying the flags because of the I don't want to go in. I want to go into it.
Let's do for the 97. Let's do for the 97.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, that's
98,
that's
yeah.
the other thing. That's the other
98,
thing.
sorry, 98.
98 now. Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I meant to say. That is the other thing I meant to say, is obviously
let's
on this day, then there really is no other kind of issue that this is all just taking our mind off things in our own lives today. And but for a lot of people, there's only one thing that they're going to be thinking about today. And a lot of these people still don't have the justice or the peace that they deserve. So don't forget about it. Keep walking about it. Keep bringing it up. Keep reminding everybody about it. And number one, most important thing: do not buy the sun.
But
keep it's the 35th anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster tragedy, our hearts always go with those that were affected directly and even indirectly from the tragedy. You'll never walk alone is never enough to say, but it is certainly the sentiment that I believe all of us hold on the panel and in the chat as well. Never forget for sure. So yes, let's look for brighter days and for this club, and yes, let's continue to march on. So with that, I'm going to allow for you guys to depart onto your next adventure. If this is not your final destination, I wish you all the best. I hope that you continue to take care of yourselves and to, as always, have the to by doing so have the energy and the ability to take care of those loved ones in your lives. It's important that you do so because we are all you got. So until next time, till tomorrow, I will bid you guys adieu.